Live?
We are now, yeah. Stream, let us know about that. We just reset it. We didn't want to actually down the quality. It's just OBS I've got open, so it shouldn't be lagging at
Oh, the
all.
one about Radiant.
Shouldn't be lagging at all at this point. It really shouldn't be lagging at all. But be sure to let us know. No, it's not. I've just looked at it. It's not. We're good to go. Yeah,
He's just up his own arse. Right, anyway, continue.
yeah. No worries. It should be good to go. But like I said, stream, it's gonna be just abroad. It's gonna be mainly focusing on the orgs. If you guys, if it's got some COD in it, I'll be on it. We're discussing COD, general other esports. It's a way for us to sit down with three org owners and discuss their views on what they get the outsider view on what happens in COD, what happens in other esports as well. So it's kind of a mix this week. It's the first time we've actually really tried to do this 'cause it's mostly been COD throughout the week. So this should be an interesting one. So starting it off, we had a discussion with Dave Prehan, and what we wanted to start off with was we had a question about this as well. So this is kind of addressing that. It's starting an org. It's people that have maybe everyone has to start somewhere. Everyone started their org from small. It's now grown. Of course, all you guys have a part of orgs that are now massive within the scene and within organizations as well. And starting one, I think we had a question about what giving advice, but maybe maybe just give us maybe your guys' input on how maybe your org came about. Maybe I'll start with you, David, because we've spoken to you about this beforehand. But how did Aerox come about? How did it get to the juggernaut that it is now?
Was I didn't found the org. Took over about 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
When I come back from having like 4 years off esports,
Yep.
I decided to have to try and get a well-established organisation already. Because for a new organisation, I don't see. In all honesty, I wouldn't bother.
Mm-hmm.
You need to already find an org and maybe become a manager, and then work your way up to become an org owner.
Yeah, it's probably why it's good to have you here as well, Hayden, instead of maybe Reese, because Reese, of course, being the owner of Cryptic, Hayden, of course, is the manager. So, what would maybe your view on that? Minute, of course, you're not the owner of Cryptic, but basing it off what Davey said, working your way up through the ranks, maybe as just a member, a streamer, then moving your way up to a manager. How would you think about that? It's what advice maybe would you give to someone that's maybe just trying to
Well, the
start out?
first org I was proper a part of was I'm not gonna count Radiant. It was because that lasted about an hour. But it was TD. I joined mostly because I was just friends with people there, but I wanted something to do instead of just being there.
Yeah,
And because I played Call of Duty and knew how to work around it, I went into there managing their youth team. And then after that, I don't know, I found I enjoyed doing that, so I've kind of stuck with it for everywhere I've gone. But it's finding something that you're good at and that you can enjoy doing
yeah,
within the org instead of just being there for the sake of it.
yeah. That's the important thing, isn't it? It's about
Mhm.
you don't want to wake up one morning and you're like, right, I have to get this thing and I've got five things to do. You want to enjoy it because, like you say, if you're a part of like an org, say you're the COD manager, so you are obviously got an interesting COD, so you don't want to be picked up for an org, say, oh, manage this Rainbow Six Siege team or be a part of like the Fortnite setup or something. You want to be involved in the thing you want to be a part of.
Yeah, it's like they'll talk about CS in the chat and CS
Yeah,
teams,
and you
and
just be like,
well, I won't have a clue.
yeah,
I'll just back away from it because I don't have any idea. But at least I've got something there.
yeah. I mean, that's one of the ways of doing that. And of course, Nova. Coming lastly to yourself, Radiant. It's became well. I think when I started on PlayStation 4, I saw Radiant as this maybe this giant org that I was like, well, okay, I had a few friends I believe that were on the Radiant at the same time as well, and I was like, this actually looks like a pretty solid org, and getting to know obviously the members of it now. So how did it come to about? Because of course, everyone in this setup has, I believe, in terms of followers, Aerox plus 10k, Cryptic and Radiant plus 3 4 5k. So a
Yeah.
huge following for all three organizations. And fair play to you guys, but how did that come about? Like, how did Radiant get to where it is now? This almost, I'd say, one of the top juggernauts in the youth scene and COD as well.
I think it's all a learning curve. You can't really teach someone how to own an org. You need
Yeah,
to actually do it and hands-on experience. And I like how you mentioned starting an org earlier on because I kind of agree with David to the point that you kind of shouldn't because it most likely isn't going to be worth your time. It's just going to be pumping in a lot of money, a lot of time, and realistically, you're not going to see return for the next couple of years. So I think the sensible option would be to go with an already built brand and work your way up, like you mentioned. However, I think you see a lot of people going for pride rather than experience. They want to own their own little baby in a sense because your orgs are your little baby. They want to build it up from the bottom and stuff like that. But realistically, it's not going to be really worth it. But with Radiant, it started off, I think, like most people, as like a little clan, you know, little
Yeah.
little friendship circle,
Yeah.
and stuff like that. Until it got to the point where you're like, oh wait, I could actually take this further. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And it just progresses from there. I think it's all as it goes and as it comes. It's not really a set. You need to follow this rule set to be a top hawk. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It just comes with it. It's stuff like that. It comes natural. It can't be taught. It can't be.
Yeah.
You know, it can't be written
Yeah.
down. You just need to do it. You
Yeah.
just need to.
It's one of
get
those
on
ones
with it.
either you make a mistake, you take a risk, you learn from it. It's one of those ones you kind of just pick up as you go on. You can't just be like, right, this is how you run an org, this is what you're supposed to do, this is what you say, this is what you're supposed to do day and out. You have to, like you said, you have to learn, you have to take some risks. Maybe you pick up a certain team, maybe it doesn't work out, maybe you get a bad placing at an event, you're like, okay, let's keep going.
Yeah.
Maybe you branch into another esport. Say you go into Fortnite, for example. You branch into like, all right, that didn't work out for us. Let's maybe just go away from Fortnite for a while, stick to something, and then just come back to it. It's a learning curve.
Yeah.
Exactly.
100%.
It's exactly a learning curve, and
It definitely shows. It definitely shows because 6 months down the line, you sort of know who's going to stick and who won't
Yeah.
stick around.
Yeah.
You know, we've had a lot of walks the last
a lot,
year and a
yeah,
half
we have, yeah.
since I've been back 2 years now.
Yeah.
And you can tell by who's owning it as well. I mean, you can tell straight off the bat, like, okay, this person just made an organisation. It's not going to go nowhere. And the brand as well. Esports has changed a lot from back in the day where it used to be like mascot logos to, you know, now everyone's got Spartan Warriors and stuff. Everyone's now transforming into like a very smart looking brand.
Yeah.
And these new organisations are still making crazy logos. People need to realise that this day and age of esports, as esports is progressing into business, it needs to be more businessy
Yeah.
looking.
I mean,
as
yeah.
well.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's an organization. It's meant to be a more professional thing. It's not meant to be. If it at the beginning it can be something maybe funny, something like, oh, let's just have a bit of a laugh at this. But like you said, as you get further down the line, you want to be getting more serious with it. And there are orgs, like you pointed out, that I just remembering off the top of my head, there are a few like down the line that still don't maybe get on like a business almost, because that's in the end what you're trying to do. You've got a staff team. You're trying to get to a point where, if you make any sort of money off it, apparel as well, you're trying to get to a level where you can start to make money off it. And it's like you say, there's some orgs that just maybe don't take it seriously enough, maybe. And the fact that they don't realize the
And I think
giant
that
task.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's just so saturated now with every day an organisation, and it's sort of like an insult to organisations that are well established in like the amateur, semi-professional, pro scene. That people think it's so easy. People think, oh, it's going to cost me a few £100 here and there, and
Yeah.
it's just people just
It
don't
mounts up.
expect what comes with it.
Yeah.
So people need to realise that it's not easy, time consuming, a lot of money.
Yeah.
You've got to contend with all the other organisations as well. So just to even contend with other organisations and try and get your brand out there is just
Yeah.
bloody hard work as it is. For getting money and time, just trying to get your name out there, that's like the hardest thing now, because there's so many people trying to do it. And then we all look at other organisations and be like, okay, mate, you're just the same as everyone else. Like, you'll be gone in 6 months' time. So people don't even give you a chance now. You know, they see a new organisation and everyone's like, yeah, okay, that won't be here in 6 months.
I think the big thing with an org is you do need to realise you're going to lose a lot of money.
Yeah,
And,
it's not
if
100%
you're-
secure.
And if you're not willing to put in that money, then why should an investor, why should a sponsor put in money? Why should they back you if you're not willing to back yourself? But you do need to be confident enough to support that brand with the finances, and I'm afraid it's going to be a huge amount until you see pennies coming back, realistically, because at the end of the day, you're not really like selling a service or a product, you're selling
Yeah.
a brand, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's not free, is it?
It's totally different to like normal business.
Exactly, and it's like,
And that's why I think esports is like a totally different market, which is good, but it's, again, you need to be willing, you need to sacrifice a lot if you
Yeah.
want to even reach the small areas, which is a shame really, because it kind of puts off a lot of people from starting.
Yeah. the
so I
grind.
think, yeah, the main
Thing
the main
is-
failure comes from that.
I think what Steb's saying in the chat is like that. I see what he's saying, but I think
Mhm.
I didn't get across enough. It's more the type of person that starts an organisation. Like, as now businesses are getting involved, high-end people, you know, millionaires, CEOs of big, massive companies, when they come in, they're going to be fully prepared. You know, they're going to have the dollar behind them, they're going to have
Yeah.
the resources, etc. So you can see that sort of organisation would turn into something. I'm talking more the fact of like COD players who are like either going to retire very early, or just general people who think, like Nath said, they just want to own something. They're the sort of people that just don't understand what comes with having an organisation.
Yeah.
And obviously everyone's got to start from somewhere, and everyone's got to
Exactly.
learn. I understand that, but it's just not easy unless you've got advice from people who have already got organisations. It's very hard. I think, like Seb was saying, I think it's more the type of people trying to start these organisations, just the everyday gamer. It's not like no one's got business background, or already have an established company.
Yeah.
It's just everyday gamers trying to do it. When
Yeah.
It should be, do you know what I
When
mean?
you have some random kids using his Tesco apprenticeship money to make an org, and then you throw it in, they throw everything they have it in, it's nowhere after 4 or 5 months, and they just throw it away. And it's like all the money you've just thrown into it. If you're smart, you take that money to an org that's already established, and hope they'll take you in instead of throwing it all away for nothing.
Yeah.
Maybe that's like the advantage, and like maybe not putting in your own money. There's kind of the root of that, because of course, Hayden, yourself, you don't own an org, but you're joining an organization that's already maybe well set up. So maybe yourself working your way up through the ranks, it's a little bit, you get kind of the inside view. You kind of the view of the owner, being close to him as well, and the staff members. You kind of get to see an org grow in sort of a way from maybe not being the owner. You don't have much pressure, but it is a big grind. Like no matter what role you have in an org, it is massively a big grind. You said you're the manager, so you probably have it's not just a specific game.
Well,
it's a lot
it's like,
big responsibility.
Obviously, you have what you're supposed to do, but
Yeah.
if you want to be there, you try
Extra.
and do as much as you
Yeah.
can. Like I'll try and help out with everything I can.
Yeah.
Like I was handing out T-shirts at Insomnia. Like, I was carrying with them. I had them with me
Yeah.
all weekend, and it was a pain, but
It's worth it.
happy to do it.
Someone turns around and says, right, who handed out those t-shirts? Hayden did.
Yeah.
Good job. Like it's worth someone saying like, all right, you did well, or a reward. Like even if there's not a reward in it, it's just advancing the org. People say, oh, who's handing out t-shirts? Cryptic are, oh, Cryptic, they're a good org. They were handing out t-shirts, and Insomnia. Like it's just the little things that maybe mount up like that. And what we were talking about before, Quinn, was of course yourself being an owner. I believe before my time as well, you were an org owner. I believe. Yeah. So I believe it was E7, was it not?
Yeah.
Before my time, indeed it was. So.
Quite a while ago.
Yeah, you're well aware of the grind you need to put in, the time, the money, and you know for a fact that you're not going to get those results in the end. But in the long term, albeit E7 is now, I believe, gone. So in the end, it maybe doesn't work out. But there's still a high point, isn't there? Like there's still something you get out of it.
Yeah, exactly. It's sort of like when you first started going, it's a real grind to like actually get the ball rolling. But like once you actually have that sense of like accomplishing something, then that's sort of like the motivating factor when you're an org owner. Like when you like get like first team or like a major, like you start bringing in staff members.
Yeah.
They like you really feel comfortable with. Then if you feel like you're comfortable with the company you have, that's a real motivating factor when you're an org owner, in my eyes.
Exactly, and then we said before about young org owners that we see a lot in terms of Quinn, me and you just keeping up to date with current orgs. We know that there are various orgs. You see a lot of Tweet Cone or sold, they're picked up again, they're sold. Is that maybe the disadvantage? And this is open to anyone. Is that maybe the disadvantage? Maybe people starting too soon. You don't want to get rushed in. All of a sudden, people are they're maybe just taking too many risks. They're all of a sudden they need new owners, and it's happened to quite a few orgs. And maybe that's the disadvantage of starting it without, like you said, Nathan, any experience. Maybe just going straight in, not knowing what they're doing, just taking a massive risk, and maybe that's why we do see so many orgs we drop off in the past, or maybe just don't see them now. I mean, we have more than we've seen in the past couple of years, like you said, Davey. It's saturated. Like there are so many orgs, modern day, and Valve believe in their league of 120. That's 120 orgs. Almost every org has one team. That's a lot for maybe some small org to just maybe. That's why we get maybe so many small orgs being that shining light.
It's difficult because
Yeah.
I think now I'd probably go, get some experience before you
Yeah.
start an org or something like that. But from my point of view, 15-year-old me, I didn't think of that, and I just started Radiant and stuff like that.
Stop.
But
Let's go
I
for
look
it.
at it back now, and it's obviously it's worked out in some way. You know what I mean? So maybe that is the right method. I think the method I went down was learning the hard way, because there's so many mistakes you make, and it's Twitter at the end of the day. You're gonna get called out for it,
Exactly.
and you're getting smashed down. So you need to improve on that. So I think that's the main way to actually progress productively is learning the hard way. However, if this day and age, if you do want to go down that, it's more sensible route. Getting a small org, build up your experience there, add some stuff to your CV, and then get contacting the larger organisations. That'd be the clever way to do it. I think Seb
Yeah.
can relate to that because Seb started at like 12 years old. And look at him now. I think he's just turned 18, and he's in Red Reserve. Don't really need to explain it.
He still
Exactly.
looks 12, though, doesn't he?
I still look
I love
12.
Seb, but you know what I mean. It's one of them. So if you start early, obviously you need to have some kind of etiquette and professional at that age, which is difficult. But if you start early and if you have that right mindset, then look where it leads. You know what I mean? I think Seb's the perfect example.
Exactly.
It's like going back to what you said earlier, Dan, about
Mhm.
people like orgs being bought and sold. There's like two main points that come to my mind. Usually, when you buy an org and you resell it, you're losing money.
Yeah.
And second of all, if you keep on buying an org and selling an org, like the same org, not every owner is gonna have the same mindset or like the same vision for it. So it'll just like keep on changing. Like it'll be like a different mindset for the like different direction the org's
like
going
Optic
in
right
like
now.
every week. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Optic's a
Was
perfect
it
example.
Hex sold 80% to
Yeah, he sold the majority shares to Infinity, and what happened since they've there was some Call of Duty team.
hasn't been paid since
Did he-
January.
Didn't Infinity or Infinite drop a team?
Halo.
They dropped the Halo team, yeah. And since then, I think I saw a tweet the other day. The Gears team has failed, as in like competition wise. So is Halo. So is Gears. COD is
CS.
who the hell knows what's going on with the
They've got a
Optic
new
Hall.
team.
They've got a new
Optic
team.
CS is a new team.
Optic
because they're
CS, and
fading.
then the Optic COD team, whatever the hell. We've got a question about that later, but whatever the hell's up with that squad, it's up in the air at this point. Take your guess. You might well be right, for all we know.
I know where you're coming from with Optic and Infinite or whatever they're called. I
Yeah.
don't think it's healthy for the organisation.
No.
But I think with all the rumours going on, especially with the Halo team, especially with the COD team, it's nobody's place but Optic to
Exactly.
talk about it. You know
Exactly.
what I mean?
Everyone's like
'Cause
predicting rosters
everything
and
that's out there, every single thing that's out there, unless the videos are from the Halo players, the COD
Yeah.
players, or from Optic itself, is 90% false. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? You can't soak that up.
Vision will be an
Um,
interesting episode next week.
Exactly. That will be.
Hitch was mentioning it. He was like,
Visions
Visions next Wednesday. I am interested to see what they're going to discuss because I haven't seen the Codcast yet, and I was hearing things about what Krim and Karma were doing on the Codcast, on Nameless's Codcast, and it didn't sound too pretty.
Just blows my mind how we're all going off Reddit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
Got
just.
posts on Reddit and everyone's like, whoa.
Everyone's like, well,
this
hold
guy-
on a
this
minute.
guy is
Something's.
spot on.
Yeah, he just.
I
he-
just want them all to go 100 Thieves.
that was the rumor going about, wasn't it? They were all going to join 100 Thieves for like a day
Was
or
it?
two.
Imagine if it was planned, it'd be so good.
Now
They
that-
left. Hexel's
I
come,
mean,
everyone
Hex,
joined it.
yeah,
Ugh.
Hex did mention, I think it was in one of his vlogs, they had special projects with Nade Shot
Hmm.
Band.
Hmm.
That might just be like speculation or might actually be right.
Yeah. Speaking of the relationship between Optic and 100 Thieves, that kind of brings it into what I was going to say about whether it be AM orgs, pro orgs, semi-pro orgs, whatever you want to say. Competition between the orgs. The question I've got here is it good? Is it bad? And there's something I want to bring into it after this, but in just general, competition between orgs, rivalries, whatever the hell, I'm going to reference a point that I remember Davey telling me about, the Radiant and the Aerox situation. This was before my time, so I have not got a clue what happened with it, but I'm aware that there was some sort of rivalry in there somewhere.
It's healthy. That is, it's healthy. It's one of the things that actually keeps you going.
Exactly,
Keeps you to
motivation.
do something with the org. You
It's
know
like
what I mean?
they've got 150 or
Yeah,
1,500 followers. We're on 100. Let's try and beat them. It's motivation,
Yeah,
isn't it?
well, it's not like going to beat them. It's like
Just top
you
like
keep track.
yeah.
It's normal business. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Keeping track of your competitors.
Yeah.
But it does. If you see them
Yeah.
do something big, you're like, oh,
We got to match
Yeah.
this.
I want to do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's the same kind of thing, and vice versa. But if you don't have that, then you're just going to be sit back in your comfort zone.
Exactly.
Then
And
the Radiant TD probably was quite interested.
Lovely. Well, where's TD now?
Right here.
Bang, bang.
I left and brought him with me.
There we go.
yeah, and that was actually the next thing I was going to talk about as well. About merging organizations. That's probably the biggest example we'll use. The Cryptic Team Descent merger that because I was obviously, all of us maybe, whether involved, uninvolved with the organizations, they kind of came out of the blue. I was like, okay, they've merged. Okay. And of course the TD COD team departs, and now the Cryptic COD team, as far as I know, looking for this weekend is not, as far as I know, Gizmo's looking for 1 or 2, Hedman Alex is looking for 2, so maybe the pros of merging, maybe, on your, just from your...
They are, I didn't know about this.
I'm just hearing rumors. People have DM'd me saying the team they're playing this weekend is not their full strength team, which
The only thing I can think of is because this array's turned 18.
yeah,
might not wanna
he's
play it.
he's
But
on.
at the end of the day, because Bulldog's gone, it's free money, so I don't see why he wouldn't play.
Yeah, that was
I
interesting.
mean, they're not gonna lose.
Yeah.
He's with, who is it, Peak Home now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so maybe just from your perspective,
Gizmo was on Bulldog.
and he's gone back now.
He DM'd me. He came home.
He came
We played Bulldog that night, beat them, and then they
I remember
decided
that.
to leave. So.
I remember that.
Just-
But maybe just from your view, Hayden, maybe the pros, maybe if because you're obviously being involved, the manager of Cryptic, you're well involved with the TD merger. So maybe from your side, what was maybe from your side the positives and negatives of what's happened, if there's any negatives, maybe. But from a positive side, what's came out of the merger?
Straight from, well, I never wanted to leave TD.
Yeah.
That was kind of forced upon me. It was a mutual agreement in the end, but it was advised because of, I don't want to go properly into it, but G Fuel was
Mhm.
a part of it, and some things to do with my Twitter and other stuff like that. But I always spoke to Cameron a lot, and then ever since I left, I was trying to get him over wherever I was,
Mhm.
just because I know how good he is. And I actually didn't know it was happening until a week before, maybe. But I obviously spoke to Reese about like, I
Yeah.
want this person like there, over there. They're quite good as well. But he basically came and he was just like, it's happening. And I'm just like, oh right, great. But and then I messaged Cameron about it. He said, well, you know, I was coming for a long time. I just never had the guts to pull the trigger on it, kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's done.
Yeah, I
It's
think-
gone well so far.
I think everyone can agree, like TD died a long time ago from what they used to be. So it was more, you know, it was a long time coming that they had to
Oh,
do
yeah.
something.
Yeah.
Um,
But at one point, it was the org most people wanted to join.
Yeah.
yeah,
and
exactly.
I've always said since they announced G Fuel and everything went dead strict and you had to be on point, because the org was jokes, like the amount of shit that was tweeted on that account was just stupid, like nobody knows. And it turned into like politics. Like, it has
I
to
know,
be,
mate.
has to look good, and it just went to shit after that. It's my opinion anyway. So.
And of course, I mean, you look at it from maybe a marketing or maybe just a standpoint in terms of COD or whatever you want to look at it. You're eliminating what was, I'll talk from a COD perspective then, an org perspective. TD finished third, back to back, behind Cryptic. In fact, 1 point, Cryptic didn't compete. So maybe you're eliminating, of course, TD's COD team has since departed, but you're almost eliminating a COD competitor that was contesting you for almost what would have been, now I think, the top 3 still. Even though Bulldog has departed, we still have what I believe is one of the top squads, your squad, Nathan, which I believe nobody can really disagree with that. It's a top 6 roster minimum, that roster.
Which
The
Really?
youth.
Oh, Johnny W.
Yeah, that one. It's just,
Yeah, we dropped him twice.
I remember that.
Johnny's in the chat.
Is he?
Rango's getting hunted tonight.
I've told him
Well-
before.
Just as soon as this ends, he's in the DMs, is that right? Let's have a chat, Aiden, about what you
What
said.
team? What, the Radiant team?
Yeah, that
It's
one.
not- Johnny's not on anymore.
Oh, you've dropped him as well!
Well,
Oh!
you won't like that, but
It's
it's
now-
hectic. It's hectic.
Yeah, hectic, yeah.
I love Hectic too. He's a good
Yeah,
one.
Aaron's-
Like, he was very underrated. I think it's his time.
I think
to
he was
shine.
called, I think what was he was called the other day? He was called, what was it? Oh, I remember it now. He was called like an emerging player, or like a new player under the scene this year. People almost forgot that he placed in the top 6 last year. I think people almost forgot that. But I remember it was Buffers that said it, but I get where he came from, that Aaron has now, I see why he's on Radiant. I mean, he's consistently performed this year. Probably why he's emerged so much. I mean, to be on your squad and now, I said I speak from an org perspective. Cryptic TD was obviously growing in terms of following. Like you said, they've dropped off Hayden, but they were still up there in terms of maybe org shakes you wanted to join. They had good ownership. They were a well-run org, and now they've dropped. So they come into Cryptic. it now eliminates maybe the competitive in terms of selling maybe jerseys or just maybe gathering a following or whatever you want to do, following or followers on Twitter as well. It eliminates that perspective as well, but I can't really see any bad things about the merger. I really can't, unless there's maybe some bad eggs inside of TD that you don't want to be in within Cryptic, but I don't really see a bad side to it.
I mean, when the merge happened, we had the pick and the choose of who we wanted.
Who you wanted,
to come
yeah.
over. So if there was any, they just didn't come over. So the youth team obviously didn't come over,
Yeah.
but we had ours.
Yeah.
Ours is better. Half of their management, obviously their COD manager didn't come over because I'm here. It's just stuff like it's just stuff like that. We basically we had the pick of who we wanted, and that was the best thing that came out of it.
Yeah.
And I personally think we've got a really solid team at the moment.
And I mentioned about maybe eliminating a competitor in terms of sales and followers. That's one thing I wanted to catch on as well. The branching out of an organization as well, something that I wanted to highlight. The fact that there's some orgs that maybe contribute more towards streaming, content creation, something about that. And there's something I wanted to highlight with particularly Nathan and Hayden. Of course, I think Race might have had a better view on this. I don't know how much of a view you have on it, Hayden, or how much information you've got, but in relation to volume, I wanted to talk about that in relation to maybe just putting out certain videos, content creation and stuff like that, and as well with you and then Nathan with Heat as well. Maybe just branching out towards the community. I mean,
Johnny's been banned.
has he?
Yeah.
What did he put?
Oh, Nightbot going.
Oh, it's okay.
It's because Heretic said he's better than him. So he put,
Okay.
I know I put that.
But yeah, in relation to those.
Yeah, I think Randall can agree with me here that the best thing about these kind of videos is it's high production. The audience loves them. It's fun to do, and sponsors love them too because that's what their brand is going to be on. You know what I mean? It's a high production, like 10 to 20 minute piece. Everyone loves watching them. They're entertaining, easily marketable. There's literally no disadvantage to it, but I guess like the cost when it actually you record and editing and stuff like that. But you do get a big return on that. I think that's the best thing about it. I'm sure Randall would agree.
Yeah, like you said, you didn't know how much I was involved in it. I try and be as
Yeah.
involved as possible, so I'm quite in there with it. I help with a lot, overlooking the whole org as a general rather than just COD. But
Yeah.
it's one of the best things to do. Like you go to an event, you have.
Yeah, I
have
like
a
it
good
when it's
time.
post-event. I like that.
It's better. I personally think it's better when you're not sat there in front of a camera, when it's like actual they're just like you don't know they're recording you. It's just raw moments, better stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's like there's a clip in it when Splice are playing in ours, and
Yeah.
Copley's just stood behind the back row, just going mental. it's just stuff like that. Like it's real. It's not forced.
Yeah.
It's not fake.
It's not like, oh, this is scripted. It gives you an insight into maybe, like you said, maybe just general, or maybe mostly after a LAN, because I really enjoyed like the post Birmingham ones. Like they were really given insight, like you said, a raw moment. The players aren't expecting it, so you're kind of getting the funny side of it, the serious side, there's something to just sit and laugh about. There are quite funny videos, but I like it because it's an someone's like, oh, who owns Volume? It's like, oh, that's Cryptic's like one of their main things. Like it gets you guys a following, and they're easy marketable, like you said, Nathan. But Davey, we had a big discussion about this beforehand. You, my friend, are not the biggest fan of these.
It's not that it's not fan. It's just that I just don't do it. I mean, I think orgs work differently. I remember, like I said, the Barrage Battalion. I think were the first sort of ones to do it, which I enjoyed, and I actually enjoy watching everyone else's. I just don't do it. I don't know why. I think once you've seen one of them, you sort of see it all, and a lot of people hype things up. These videos, they hype them up to the extent where you're like, this is going to be sick. It turns out to be the same one you've watched like a month ago from the same org or similar organisation. There's got to be something unique every time.
Yeah.
I haven't really seen it yet, to be honest with you.
It's
It hasn't
understandable.
made me want to do it, but Nathan's right. It's very good for your marketing.
Definitely.
Contact and sponsors.
Yeah.
etc. But I just wish. I mean, this all started from Optic with the old Vision.
Vision,
and blah
yeah.
blah blah, and it just followed suit. And everyone's doing the same thing. It doesn't interest me. If I was going to do it, it'd have to be like it'd be good to do it, and then my team winning the event or something. I mean, the
Yeah.
Raidex one, it was like a cinema. Like I was going to put my ticket to go and see it down view, down my street. That's how it looked.
Yeah.
So I was saying, it's at my cinema, is it? That's sick, They hyped it up. They put the trophy on there as well to make it look like they've actually won the event. They didn't. They hyped it up to the extent. I watched it. and it was just like the same stuff I've seen over and over and over again. It's 4 players talking about how they got rounded, but they didn't do it, and then they say like, usually at the end of the video, it's like, yeah, we're going to progress, we're going to go and see what went wrong, see how we can improve, blah blah blah, and then 2 days later, the team's either gone to another organisation or the team's split. So it's just the same stuff every time. It's not that I'm bashing organisations who do it, because I actually enjoy doing it. The Cryptic one I actually enjoyed watching. Nathan's one, which will be coming out, probably like watching that as well. The Barrage ones, they're the same every time though, but they're cool when I started watching them. It's just not for me. Like to get the whole process of getting it made, the time and effort you got to spend. I mean, I'm busy at LAN events anyway. Like I didn't even get to see some of the mates who I planned to see there because I was quite busy. I haven't got time. I don't know how much it costs. I mean, I don't know if you boys want to say how much it is roughly. I don't know, whatever. I presume a few £100 to get it all edited and recorded, blah blah blah. I don't see I'm going to get that money back. And for a video that's going to be hyped up to be put on YouTube, it's probably going to get like between I don't know what you boys. I think Nate, yours go like 400 or 500.
Yeah, I remember you saying that, Nathan, earlier. The tweet was that.
Yeah, average is like 500, and it'll probably I think volumes will probably hit a K, and I wouldn't be surprised if Heat did too.
Yeah,
it's one of them.
So
Was it? Yeah.
It's all right. Yeah, so it's sick. That's good. But then a week later, everyone's forgot about it. No one's talking about it no more. You know, I want to do something that either people are going to talk about for a long time, or I just don't want to be the same as everyone else. Not saying there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not bashing anyone. Whatever, it's fine. I'd just rather do something completely different.
Yeah, you want to be like your own org.
I just think of new ideas, like the Aerox boxes was just a spare of a moment. It cost a lot of money, but it was a spare of a moment thing. Just wanted to do something no one's done before. I mean, I know Nath does the same sort of similar thing, but we wanted to actually build something cool. Sorry, Nathan, I'm not saying yours ain't cool, but with the boxes and stuff like that.
Sorry, Nathan.
But we're trying to think of ideas that just separates. As such that no one else has done, and this video thing, every organisation does it, and it's the same thing. So I'd just rather not saying, like I said, nothing's wrong with doing it at all.
Yeah, I mean, and I think I don't think it's one of the questions we had, but it was something someone wanted to know. It was in terms of, we spoke about young orgs maybe just coming out of the blue. What advice would maybe, Quinn, you as well, give to young orgs, maybe just about them branching out as well? I know we had a discussion earlier, Davey, about maybe taking risks. You mentioned about dropping the whole stream team to then pick up maybe that one, maybe just to do maybe one person. Is it worth taking the risk of maybe hundreds of people that are going to get you a average following, or is it worth taking up one person that's going to get you a substantial following, like someone that's very, very, very much followed than all the rest? And it's risks like that. So I'm going to start with you, Quinn. Maybe one bit of advice you would give to yourself, being, of course, a previous org owner. What advice would you give to young org owners in terms of they're branching out, the tweets they're putting out, the content creator they're producing, the videos, anything like that? What advice would you give to young org owners?
I'd just say, like, with
or young
whatever
orgs.
you're doing with an organisation, just make sure you enjoy doing it, because once you stop enjoying it, then it's pretty much over, really. Well, that's just my view. Once you stop enjoying it, it's over.
Yeah. And the same question for you, Nathan. What advice would you give? Maybe just
from a younger,
or just from orgs that maybe haven't been around for as long. I mean, of course, every org here, I think we clarified, was around for about 4 years plus, still going. And how long was E7 going for, Danny?
Not that long at all.
Not that long,
like
but it still had a substantial. It's
6 or 7 months, yeah.
6 or 7 months. So
Yeah.
it's like organising your budget, because at the end of the day, I think most small orgs will agree that they have all kind of small budgets.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people just go for straight top teams that require a bit of money that will take up most of your budget, but they won't bring a lot back for social media wise. They may get good placings, but they won't bring back their social media presence. I think the biggest thing is content. It's cheap. You can do it from your house. It's cheap, easy to do, and it brings you in traffic. Then you can add to a deck and send off to a sponsor and stuff like that. So it's actually using your budget to the best of your ability. I think first, get a website. I think that's one of the key things. As much as it may not have an effect, it's just there as a landing platform, and everything should be on there about the organisation. And then just get like a blog going or something like that. Keep the content uploaded regularly.
yeah,
Same with YouTube, same with Twitch. Just keep all that flowing, and then you're going to see the advantages. You're only going to grow from there.
Exactly.
and that will kind of bring more interest into your brand. So that's more people you're going to be picking up. That's more possible funding coming on board, and then potentially one day sponsor, investor, whatever it is, and then boom, you go into the next level then.
Exactly.
But just take it one step at a time. Use your budget to the best of your ability. But that's the main thing I can kind of say.
And a very good point as well. I mean, like you say, some orgs are going to start off maybe 100 quid, 50 quid, whatever they're going to be starting off. And they want to progress to those levels. Jerseys, stickers, whatever it is, boxes, whatever you want to do. You want to grow the org as much as you can. You want to balance your budget because maybe you want to fund a COD team into your league, right? That's £30 itself. They want to fund into 3 leagues. That's near £100. You want to get a jersey going. That's money as well. And it's a lot more expensive, I'd expect, to make the jersey and get everything done than they're actually sold for. So there's a lot more budget that goes into there. So it's a very good point, Nathan, indeed, that you want to balance it out. Because if you spend it on one thing, you can't really get anything else done. You don't want to overspend on one thing. You find yourself in really bit of debt, and then maybe that's why we see quite a few orgs tweet out for maybe investors, maybe because they don't, or maybe some of the smaller orgs that say, oh, can anyone fund, or can anyone just like be a co-owner or invest, because they find themselves short on money. And like you say, Hayden, same question to you, because you said you're very much involved with Reese as well. So question likewise for yourself, any advice you would give, maybe it's young org owners or just young starting orgs itself, what advice would you give to them?
I think it's more about building a personality than splashing loads of cash into it. Because if you throw loads of money into it, but you've got nothing behind you, or no one for the money to go towards, kind of thing, it's just wasted. Again, it's all coming down to most things are just wasted. If you're not gonna give it everything, there's no point. I don't know.
It's understandable. It's alright. At least you... Yeah, exactly. It makes sense. I mean, make your org... You don't have an org that's just maybe bland. They're like, okay, they put a lot of money into it, but they don't really have a bigger personality. They haven't got many... Maybe people just don't maybe recognize them as much. You want to get your org's personality out there because they think Radiant, they think of you, Nathan, because you're just involved with it. They think... Maybe that's the advantage of being a solo owner from day one.
What's it like?
No, I mean, maybe that's one of the advantages. People think...
Well, I had Foamy, alright, for like a year.
Yeah.
A year and a bit before he got removed because he got a bit lazy. I still love him, you know. He's still like one of my best mates, bless him. But I kind of like it solo just because I don't have to go to like fucking 3 other people to get an answer. You know.
Yeah.
I
Just
can
mix it
just
in
do
yourself.
and makes progression so much quicker.
Yeah.
Because you always find when you have to like speak to this person and speak to that and then wait for an answer, wait for a graphic, then it's like announcement that could be yesterday is 2 weeks now. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah.
Which is a lot easier to get things done, I guess.
Exactly. And Davey, you can make reference to the streamers, whatever, the fact that the stream team is so large, it's now brought down. You can reference that all you want, but what advice would you give to maybe a young org? It doesn't have to be a young org, it can just be any org that's maybe not doing it correctly that you maybe think you can do it a bit better. What advice would you give to them?
Well, just regarding like a stream team.
You can refer to that as well. Like, what would they do better in terms of their content? Yeah, it could be anything. Yeah, just branching out. What advice?
I mean, yeah, I think just market yourselves. You know, content is the key. This stage of like, especially the situation we're all in regarding events and stuff. Not really much we can do, so we have to sort of do what we can. So the content side is the most important stuff at the moment for organisations, to keep us ticking over until the new Call of Duty comes out and hopefully we get more events start attending. But regarding the stream team, like, I think everyone's aware now that we released our streamers. Obviously we don't do things for no reason. There's always a plan behind things.
Yeah.
I can't really say the plan, but
no, it's okay.
The team that we've got, are partnered only people. They are making a live off of streaming. You know, they're 50 concurrent viewers plus every time. So for a small organisation, for a new organisation, yeah, I mean, what we've done, we obviously mass marketing the streaming side, you know, to try and get your name out there a bit more, and having so many members, you can use their analytics, like to like Nathan said, contact sponsors and use that as an advantage. But when you start getting bigger and more known in the community as such, sometimes it's not the best idea. And I make mistakes all the time. You know, I'm still learning as much as everyone else. So I'm not perfect. You know, I wouldn't say Aerox is a perfect brand yet. And I made the mistake, but at the time it wasn't a mistake. You know, picking up all these guys give us a lot of publicity and a lot of reach, and we used their analytics for companies, you know, who we got on board. But after a time, you know, one partnered streamer is more valuable unfortunately, than 50 amateur streamers, who are getting like 1 to 2 views, 3 views at the whole stream. It's hardly worthwhile. And it sounds horrible. It does, but
No, but it makes sense.
when you talk to an owner, when you talk to an owner of an organisation, they're thinking the same thing. It's when you start, the community starts picking up on, you think, oh, they've just dropped all their streamers, oh, that's bad, blah, blah, blah. But you got to do what your business,
Yeah.
it's all about your business and how you want to see in a public eye. Like, let's just say, I don't know, one day that we win LAN events and we become a pro organisation. But if we've still got 200 amateur streamers,
Exactly. It's man management as well.
it's not good. It's not good for us.
No.
So we're progressing, and we realise that we want to be a bit more exclusive, prestige stream team. So we've gone down the partnered route, and we've got some very cool plans in place. Like I said, and having these 10 or whatever partnered streamers on board is going to bring us massive publicity. It wouldn't, 200 streamers, amateur streamers, wouldn't touch what's going to happen. Hopefully, so the content is very important, and the level of your organisation you need to figure out and recruit the sort of level of people you want in your organisation, reflecting on your brand. So if you're a brand new organisation, let's just say like Second Wave, I know it's pretty dead now, but Second Wave, pick up whoever you can just to get, just to get your name out there. Just pick up who you can. Obviously, you can't just pick up everyone. There's got to be restrictions and so many things to get them on board. But that will help you out a very lot to get your content team to a good size.
Yeah.
But we learned very quickly as well, when you've got, but we peaked 200, right? Probably between 160 200. It's so much hard work, man. Like the designers, we couldn't hold designers because it was too much for them. So that was a downer, and to try and control that many people.
Yeah.
It's just
It's man
hard work.
management.
So
It's a lot of people. That's just streamers.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's like a section of an org. It's not.
But yeah, the content is the most important
Yeah.
right now, especially for new organisations. And following up, I don't know if this is the same thing between Cryptic and TD, but if you ever see an organisation merge with each other, it's usually financial. That's all it comes down to. That the owners, they can't hold their own. Not so much Cryptic. Cryptic are in a good position, I believe, but people like TD, etc., where they've been away for a long time, that they dropped off the face of the earth. They obviously don't have the financial means how they fought, and that's the problem with most organisations. Like I said, they come into it thinking, oh, we're going to put in a few hundred quid, blah blah blah, and then when it comes to it and they figure out, okay, now we're talking over £1,000 a month or whatever, okay, we need help, and you're not going to get investors, no chance, unless you know what you're doing. So the next best thing is to merge with an organisation, so you got two people putting in the same amount of money, and that's usually the merge situation. You see mergers, and that's all it comes down to, is that the owners want to put both their money together for one brand rather than struggling with two brands.
Makes perfect sense,
Alright.
doesn't it?
So
My
next-
opinion. My opinion.
Yeah.
obviously.
No, of course.
Yeah, next topic we have will be so it mainly applies to Dave, well, like the three guests, Dave, Nathan, and Hayden. Just like the views on each other's orgs. So like, how you think they've been getting on, like from the start to now. So start off with,
Hayden's loving this.
talking about. Let's start off with talking about Aerox. If Nathan,
Who wants to go first?
Oh, take it easy, boys.
Hayden or Nathan, who wants to go
Take it
first?
Just like compliments, do you have to?
Or
It's
just,
your
like,
opinion.
Say, yeah, your opinion.
If it's shit, you say it's
On
shit. If
how
it's
they've
good, you say
gone.
it's good. Your opinion.
Oh. I think me and Davey didn't really start off on the best track of things. I expressed quite openly that I didn't agree with their kind of streaming thing, but I guess that's all sorted now. But yeah, I don't have a problem with Aerox now. I don't really have an issue with any kind of organisation at this stage. I think it's just healthy competition.
Yeah.
It kind of pushes everyone
Agree.
else forward.
Yeah.
But it's one of them things. Once you see everyone at LAN, it's like
Yeah.
everything's forgotten. Who cares?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Realistically, so it's one of them things.
Yeah.
Do
You have anything to
you ever
say
trip
about
me up at
Hayden?
LAN again?
I've never really. Like, I've known about Aerox, but I've never like gone to follow them to see what they're doing, kind of thing. 'cause I've always been doing my own thing. Not like an
Yeah.
insult saying they're awful or anything, but
Oh, of course not.
it's just never interested me to go look at them really.
Fair enough. So, going on to Radiant.
Oh shithole. Awful.
At least the man's honest. At least the man's honest.
Obviously, Rando, you've been there for what, an hour in total?
No, it was 4 hours. But right, basically, this is what happened.
That was
I
about
was-
shit
I-
at Starbucks, man. That was.
Right,
fucking
I
throwback.
was speaking to Miller and Ali for a long time, just 'cause I'm friends with them. And then, like, I've got nothing for you to do in TD, so I'm like, right, I'll look elsewhere. So I'll speak to Nova. He's like, yeah, we can get you in. Blah blah blah. We go for everything, and then it gets announced. And then as soon as it gets announced, I get a Skype call off Miller, and he's like, I'm not having you joining them. You're coming over. So I'm like, right, sorry Nova, goodbye, kind of
Bloody
thing. And then for a while, on my side, I think there was genuine beef for a bit, just because of how it happened. Even though I
Yeah.
did apologise, I was still a massive knowledge about it.
Yeah, I mean,
No, let's not lie
they should
about
admit
this.
that. They should admit that.
And then with TD and Radiant, I think there was competition, but it took too
Yeah, it got a
far
bit out
quite
of control.
quite a few times. But it's just since I left TD, we've been chill, so we're alright now. Apart from when I
It's weird, isn't it, looking back on it? Because like,
I did slide tackle him at Insomnia.
we'll call it a slide tackle, so it tripped me up. But it was like, I think with the TD beef, it was kind of sad for me because me and Miller were like tight, like really, really tight before all that. You know what I mean? I was fucking loved him. He used to hop in calls me and Stubbs all the time. And then when that kind of kicked off, it was like, Miller's one of them personalities you either understand or you don't. And he's
Cannot
like,
be-
it's 100% just not serious all the time. So you don't know what he's thinking in his head. You know what I mean? So when he's tweeting shit like that and you get mad at it, 5 seconds later you've got a DM from him saying, you know, mate, it was just a joke, calm down and stuff like that. It's like, fucking hell, happens every day, like, mate. Shit like
It's like,
that.
I remember the Christmas revamps. We released one of
Oh yeah, fucking hell.
saying like, anyone got some GFX? I'm like,
Yeah.
oh god.
It was like shit like that. It was just bad time, and it's fucking. It portrays on Twitter like we look like absolute bellends, and then of course TD take advantage of it and shit like that. But looking back on it, it's like just grow up. Who gives a shit?
We used to basically do everything we could just to try and annoy Nova.
Easily annoyed.
Greatest laughs of my life there. That's one thing. No, do you remember when OPN shut down for
Yeah.
a couple of days?
Hmm.
Stubbsy actually joined TD.
Oh yeah, no, you told mate. I'm best friend with Stubbs, of course I know shit
And
like that.
he-
I remember
TD.
seeing that.
He told it all, but it wasn't announced or anything, was it? So.
So, Dave, your
Well,
view?
Davey, hit me with it.
I picked up Stubbsy to annoy Nathan.
Well,
So I knew that. Yeah.
Oh,
Sorry,
oh.
Stubbs. Sorry, mate.
there you go, Stubbs in the chat.
I'll
so
joke,
that's the
I'll
only
joke,
reason.
I'll
Is he?
Nah, it won't be.
Alright.
We picked him up.
It's been good timing.
It wasn't the reason. Yeah, I think Nate's right. I think when we took over and we realised, okay, these are the competition, as all competition does, you sort of do little things to maybe try and piss off the other organisations to either get your name out there or, you know, to slip them up, you know, as such. But with me, it's just genuinely like banter. I mean,
Yeah.
like Nate was saying, when you go to a land event, you actually realise, okay, you're actually quite cool. Like you're actually alright. Some people are not. Some people are complete dicks. But yeah, it was nothing malicious. You know, we did post out a few things on our own accounts. Just a harmless banner. Really, never took it to. I wouldn't say we never took it like extremely far, like some people do. But no, it's just. I think it's just competition. That's all it comes down to.
Yeah.
I mean, some people take it too far. Won't say no names, but I think we're cool. Like we met each other at land event at I-62. Sweet. Yeah, that's all it comes down to, really.
Alright.
But
So now-
anyway,
alright.
I think your question was the actual organisation. I
Yeah.
think I've said this. No, Radiant do things much better than us. I think you work at a marketing firm, wouldn't you?
Yeah,
Nate
just
was
like
saying. Yeah, so you can tell that the reflection to the Twitter, you know, how it's handled, and we don't handle ourselves like that. Like it's not
Very
laid out
clean.
the same. I like how they has its. Yeah, yeah. I like the graphics, I like
So,
the gifs, and
you
we're
say-
starting to try and improve on.
You say that,
You
and
know?
I kind of agree with it to a point, but it's like I'm very fucking OCD when it comes to my Twitter. It's like if anyone else tries to touch that or run my social medias, I can't deal with that. I think all my staff will agree. So I'm glad you pointed that out because I'm not a fucking OCD when it comes to shit like that.
Yeah.
But I know what you mean. It's kind of the only thing that, especially Twitter, it's like the hub for esports these days.
Yeah.
It's just nice to keep it looking brand clean,
Yeah.
I guess. At the end of the day. But yeah, Cryptic.
Just organisations do things different, you know.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
what it comes down
Yeah.
to.
Well, that's what makes esports great because loads of people can do it different. If it was all
Yeah.
the same, then it'd be like anything else.
So now moving on to Cryptic.
Oh, hit me. I mean,
So
I've got a
Nathan,
bit
if you
wrong.
do you wanna start off, Nathan?
I can start. I've nothing bad to say about Cryptic. I think the best thing that I like Reese for, because it kind of went, you know, the old. I think I randomly agree. There was something going around called like the TD ego or something. But when Reese left TD straight away, I
usual.
got
Like I,
yeah.
like I said, it's not usual. It went
I
to
got a
everyone's
mass-
heads.
Yeah, and it was sad from my point of view because it was like most of them people in TD were like mates beforehand. You know what I mean? I kind of got shit on by them for no reason, so it was like I've lost mates for no reason. But as soon as Reese left, I don't know when he left, but when he did depart, I got a big DM from him saying sorry for being a dickhead. You know what I mean? Let's you know shake hands and shit like that.
I didn't know as well.
And I liked it, you know what I mean? Because I've got no issue then. Because if you come to me like that, of course I'm gonna forgive you. I've got no problem. But other than that, I've got no problem. Cryptic. I think volume. I do have my criticisms, but it's like everything. Everything criticizes
Yeah.
something. It was good. Don't get me wrong. I think it was a really good piece. It represented everything that it should have. But I think most people pointed out it wasn't different. You know what I mean? But I don't have an issue with that because it's very difficult to switch something up that
Yeah.
A lot of
everybody's
things
doing. You know what I mean?
we wanted to do but couldn't.
Yeah.
because
I
of
mean, yeah.
things that happened, obviously.
Yeah, no, that's fine. And I get that. It's just I did still like it, so there's
No,
no problem.
I prefer you shit on it than lick it off.
Yeah, no, I know what you
Yeah.
mean. I just think there's some people out there that crave for the small problems. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they will literally
Oh.
eat it apart.
What-
Yeah, don't.
Nah,
Don't mention the name
that's
yet.
that. Going back to them one minute, that's one thing. I can't sit there and watch people talk for half an hour.
Yeah,
It just bores me.
it's
Yeah.
different. It's good that you mentioned that because I kind of like. I know Dylan's probably still in the stream. I love Radix. I love.
Oh, I
Dylan.
love Dylan.
Yeah, I've got no issue at all with them. I think the problem with Radix was a bit too long. 30 minutes realistically. If it was like 20 minutes, I probably
It was
would have
30
sat
minutes. That was the one
yeah,
that's the only one I haven't seen yet. It's 30 minutes.
through-
Oh, I got through 4 minutes of it. It was just tough.
It's literally the one I haven't seen yet.
I get why they did it because they got pretty far in the event. To be honest, with
Yeah.
them,
It's,
and,
it's,
they had a
it's,
lot-
it's how he does stuff.
Yeah.
yeah, it's a lot of footage. However, I just felt it would be a lot more impactful shorter. But that's my criticism because it's very hard to keep someone interested for 30 minutes. You know what I mean? But I think other than that, they did a good job. But I'd say with C6, it maybe could have been a bit longer. You know what I mean? I think the best time zone is around like 15 minutes. If
Yeah.
someone's gonna sit there and watch the whole thing all the way through and put their full attention to it, you got to keep them gripped. You know what I mean? I think that's only Cryptic's fault. Not Cryptic's fault. Radix's fault there. Just because it's a bit too long.
So Dave, do you have anything you want to say about Cryptic?
Yeah, I'm the same really. I've never had an issue with anyone apart from one time. I believe Reese was like, "The Aerox logo is shit," and I was
Oh,
like, "You fucking
He's a
wanker."
knobhead to everyone.
Yeah, but no, he's actually right. Unfortunately, I didn't get to see him at I62, but we spoke prior to I62, and yeah, he's sweet. The organisation, like I said, it's doing some cool stuff with the volume and fucking youth leagues and well, not youth leagues, just tournaments in general, and they're doing well. Yeah, no problems whatsoever. I'm the same. I think I've explained the video thing already. The one thing I did like about that video was how Reese started it off with
Yeah,
the talk
like
over.
2
I
minutes
thought
long.
that was pretty smart. That got me that. yeah, that got me interested when he was talking over it. And I was like, okay, this looks pretty cool. This is not the same sort of stuff. And then it did sort of turn into the same sort of stuff. But it was good to watch still. But yeah, like Nathan said, people do criticise the tiniest things. But nah, no problem with Cryptic whatsoever.
Yeah, it's fucking boring when someone does that. It's like I'm just fully open for criticism. You can tell me what to improve on, but if you're pointing out like the tiniest shit you personally don't like, then just walk on. You know what I mean?
Do you want to
It's
Do you
one of
want
them
to get your
things.
foot longer out now?
Yeah, Put it right in it.
And that's the
it's
thing,
one of
as,
them things,
like-
isn't it, like-
Especially with me, like I'm very like black and white straight up, and I'd rather people DM me straight away.
Yeah, I'm
Like,
the same.
okay, like that was either too much, or what you done the other day with that video, or whatever the thing is. I'd rather someone be dead honest with me, but have a valid point, not just the nitpicking.
Yeah.
And subtweeting. That's the other thing that gets me when people
Yeah.
subtweet about each other. I'd rather you just I'd get into a Skype call with you, have a face to face as such we can on Skype, and talk about it like why are you being a dick, blah 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 blah, instead of going on this subtweeting rant. Because like Nathan was saying, when you go to a LAN event, they do not say nothing to you,
No,
right?
not in person. No.
Yeah, and then you'll go home. Like I think I tweeted about it before the event. Before the event, everyone hates each other. You go to the event, everyone loves each other, and after the event, everyone hates each other again. Right? It's pathetic. And I said like, if I've ever fallen out with someone, I'd rather go and have a beer with you and sort it out. But yeah, I'd rather people be straight up with each other a bit more.
Yeah, it's,
Instead of bluffing each other.
yeah. When you mention that, it's like because if they're actually wanting to criticize you and they're wanting to improve it, which these nitpickers say they are, then
DM,
they'll give you a massive DM, wouldn't they? A massive DM what to improve on. But if
It's
they
a-
don't,
Blast it
Pretty-
on the timeline.
yeah, or do a
Yeah,
live
yeah.
stream, fucking watching it through. Do a live stream, watching it through, tweet about it, like what? You know what I mean? Just fucking DM me, bro.
A live
Really
stream.
not that
What happened
deep.
there?
Yeah, right,
What happened?
right.
Wait, no way someone nitpicked a live stream.
No, because someone. Let's leave it. Let's next up.
I just can't. If someone actually did that, I don't know how you nitpick a live stream.
Yeah.
Not
Alright,
even the shame. Just how do you do it?
Let's just move swiftly on to the next part. It's just about like if this is open to like everyone, including you, Dan. Just any upcoming orgs that you think will do well. Maybe get to the point
One each?
where Aerox, Radiant, and Cryptic are.
Do we get one
We
each?
can do one each, yeah.
I'm gonna steal an obvious one. I'm gonna go Plasnite. Honestly, it's just they didn't compete in IW because obviously they weren't around. But in World War II, I don't think they competed much in season one. They only came around maybe the tail end. That sort of kind of off season in between season one and season two, and it's the rebranding recently. I don't know. I don't mind the rebranding, but in terms of I kind of like the old version actually. I don't mind the rebranding. But I
Yeah.
kind of like the old version, just the default one. But in terms of how I think they'll do, I think in the future that the roster they've picked up, Plasnite Black, of course, for those of you not in the stream that aren't aware, Goldry was a PJ and Percy. That roster is a good long history of finishing high. I think it's only missing Mark rebounds, and that's a top 8 roster at EEG season 1. Tick rebounds out for Goldry rebounds is obviously quit now, but
Yeah.
that roster in the future, that's not even including Plasnite Red. That roster itself has the potential to place very, very well. Of course, with Bulldog going,
Yeah.
I know it's something we're going to discuss in the future, but Bulldog's gone. Plasnite, they're a recent org. They've only got, I believe, I'll check now, 225 followers. So they're relatively new. The rebrand is going to get them quite far in terms of it's going to make everyone just think, wow, look at Plasnite. They're really trying to improve. They're trying to rebrand. They're planning to get themselves out there. But they picked up a Fortnite duo as well. So they're trying to get out there. And I think from a COD perspective, they'll go far. They should place high. That roster itself, to say Goldry's a better sub than Rebounds was, I haven't seen enough of Goldry this year to say that. But that squad should place minimum top 8 to 6 minimum. I said that to Void's DM. I was like, they're minimum top 8 to 6. So I think that's where they should place. They can go as high as 3rd. That's as high as they've been all year. Waza, he's back-to-back 3rd place. They should finish high, and in terms of an overall org perspective, they should do well in the future as well. I mean, they're branching into other esports, and they're not
Yeah.
doing anything wrong right now, in my opinion. So that's probably
Alright.
Plasnite is probably my choice. Overall, yeah, Plasnite. I think just still an obvious
I
choice,
think-
but
When you talk about these sort of questions, right, about organisations that are coming or going or etc.,
Mhm.
it's not about the tournaments online.
exactly.
It's the general overall
Exactly.
of an organisation. You know,
Mhm.
how they market themselves, the brand as well.
Yeah.
You know, how professional are they coming across? You know,
Yeah.
what are they dabbling the Halo, the CS:GO?
Exactly.
Um,
Knowing Nick as well, he's a sound
yeah.
guy.
It's so much thing. Yeah, it's not just so much. Okay, these have got a top 16
Exactly.
in the Call of Duty tournaments online. That means they're going to propel this year. Like
Exactly.
that's nothing to do with. If anything, it's not going to affect the actual organisation. You tweeting out that you've won an online tournament
Exactly.
every week, like that does nothing really for you.
No, it'll grow it a
about
little
what
bit,
goes
but
on behind
it's
the
what
scenes.
it's what they do more than that. Yeah, it'll grow it a little bit,
Yeah.
get a bit exposure, but overall, it's what the rest of they do as well.
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
anyone else?
an organisation like
Yeah.
Animosity.
I remember, you brought those up. Yeah,
The guys are pretty cool,
I'd agree with that. Yeah.
pretty chill.
Mhm.
I think they'll do. They carry themselves well. They're
Mhm.
dabbling in other, not just COD, like other esports as well.
Mhm.
Yeah, I just think that would be a brand that might come up.
I think you've just taken two of the most obvious ones.
Yeah.
Buzzkill.
Brilliant.
That's cool.
Just because I know how good Connor is, and
Connor
he's done,
Boy, yeah.
he's done it twice before, and I think he will be able to do it again. Pretty much all that needs to be said.
Yeah.
I think
Uh,
with organisations, like what will be coming up, if you're going to have an organisation or start an organisation, you need to be starting at the start of the year. Because
Exactly.
a lot of organisations are coming in very late into the year, so there's not anything to do, and that's the problem most organisations are having. Like, I think Buzzkill been around what 2 months now, maybe, or something like that. Not long, and I haven't seen anything. I don't know, but I've not seen them in anything or play anything. I've just seen them give away a T-shirt or whatever it was. So yeah, I mean, personally, I don't really see him going nowhere. I know who the owner is. I don't think it will do. I mean, they've been around for two months now, and I've not seen anything to show they're going to progress as such. I'm not throwing shots here. I'm just saying. But I think a lot of people are coming in way too late. You know, even the well-established organisations haven't got anything to do. So, being a new organisation to try and think of something to do is bloody hard work, and it's too later on. We'll figure out who will be around when the new Call of Duty drops just
Yeah.
after Christmas. We'll figure out probably that sort of time. But if you're going to make an organisation at the start of the year or start of a game that you're
Yeah.
interested in playing in, I think.
Kind of drawn the desert dry there, Nathan.
You what?
We've
Oh,
kind
you
of
want me to mention
and you
some
sucked the desert dry.
just
So,
like one or day
more? Well,
thing.
no, I've got
at
two
the
in my mind.
moment.
ooh,
Um,
I'm excited.
I mean, unless we're already counting it, Bulldog by far. I think the only thing they need to sort is their marketing. I just think it's a little bit outdated, but other than that, I love Bulldog to bits. I think they have far more potential than most. They're already a well-respected brand. You know what I mean? They're already up there.
Mhm.
Secondly, I think Barrage. The only thing again with Barrage, and I think Jeff will agree on this, again, is kind of marketing. If he improves that area to keep it a bit more up to date with his kind of audience, and I think he'll be sailing from there. But they're the two on my radar. It's just the little
Yeah.
things. I think different organisations do things better than others.
Yeah.
It's stuff like that, and I think marketing these days is very,
Yeah.
very important. And I think more people who catch on to that quickly will see a lot more progression. But yeah, definitely them two brands, unless
Yeah.
you already thought of them.
You got
already.
one, Danny.
So,
You got one.
sort of thinking maybe, obviously, I'm good friends with Buffers, so I think Void, to be honest.
Okay.
Oh, James,
Like, I
own a
just-
game as well.
I just really think, like, with what he's doing at the moment, obviously I've talked to him before in the past.
Yep.
Like, I know the sort of vision that he wants to, like, go through with Void. I've had various offers to join Void. But I really feel like, with what he's doing, and obviously knowing his vision for the future, I really think that they could take off as a very good org very soon.
No, I like Buffers.
Thing is, yeah. See, I actually generally like him as well. But with Void, I think it's one of them organisations where you just don't know yet.
consistency. That's the thing.
Yeah, exactly. And also, from an outside person, right,
Mhm.
and how we know the esports scene is right now regarding organisation, I really do see Boff as being like a pro caster. I actually enjoy listening to. He's got the voice for it, right? He's got that voice.
Yeah.
But it's just a casting voice. I think he's going to do very well in casting. He just needs that break from someone like Benson to look at him and pick him up
Yeah.
for an event or something. Do you know what I mean? Same with like how Campbell went through. I think I know he's focusing on the casting, but I think he'll get more with the casting than with being an owner of an organisation. I think he has a lot more easier potential to get into the casting scene and actually go to events and cast events than making Void into something that he wants it to be. I mean, not saying he shouldn't do it, obviously, but I think he'll get some more places being a caster and focus on casting than trying to push Void whilst doing casting as well. I mean, it can't be hard. Like, I know you boys doing all the vowels and EEGs, blah blah blah. I mean, it must be tiring. Like, you're doing it every bloody day. You've got to keep up to date, and I couldn't imagine doing that whilst trying to run an organisation as well. I don't know what time. I don't know how he's plucking time out of thin air, but I think he needs to focus on that casting, man, because I really think he'll get somewhere, 100%.
Yeah, so
no, I agree.
whilst I was at Birmingham, I had to talk with the casters, and they said the main thing is just enjoy casting. Like, whatever you're doing, whether it's like tournaments, leagues, and then progressing on to events, you just gotta enjoy doing it and like putting all the time that you can into it on improving, like, and like just taking criticism, like not taking it to heart really. If there's something, just take it as feedback. Like, get all the feedback you can from like people you're casting with or people watching. Just like take all of the criticism you can and just take it and move forward with it.
Yeah, I think take every opportunity to, paid or not
Yeah.
paid, take it. It's more something to put down in your CV. It's another reference. Just take it, get it under
Yeah.
your belt. Regardless if it's the smallest LAN event of the year, just do it. You know what I mean? It's more experience at the end of the day. But yeah, Boff is a sound guy.
Yeah. And it's last thing is sort of like the polar opposite to that.
I've got
Any
mine.
orgs you think?
I've got
any
mine.
orgs you think have dropped off?
I've got mine.
Do you want to start off then?
Brainstorm.
Brainstorm?
They're gone, aren't they?
Brainstorm. Yeah, they've dropped. They went from having. I know I've spoke to many people who agree that. Cast your mind back to the predictions for the Val Season 1, Quinn. Who was predicted to win that event? No, I'm just thinking. For those of you that saw the predictions, I can't remember whose predictions they were, but
From Infinite.
was it his predictions?
Who's Brody?
Oh no,
Was
we
it?
were first because we beat him in the league. Bulldog was second.
No, but whose predictions was it though?
It was.
Was it-
I think
was it?
It was Brody's.
Was
who
it?
Brody put because he was.
Because I remember the
doing,
18
the
plus team
brainstorm.
being predicted first,
Yeah, that was Brody.
and they finished. Where did they finish? Top 12.
Top 16, top 12.
Yeah, and then the youth team finished top 24. So I think.
Yeah.
From an org's perspective, it was ran pretty well. Metro and Brody, they were doing a good. Like, the marketing was there, the tweets were there. Like, it wasn't a bad org. I've friends of Brody and Metro. I know that they were running it quite well, and I think that those placements, it's sort of singling out the COD was their breakthrough, but they were the straw that broke the camel's back, because we saw that after that, they went from having I know the squad then went on to play for Radix at Birmingham, as far as I know. So since then we haven't seen, as far as I know, Brainstorm is gone, and now Brody and Metro are under Plaz Knight, as far as I know. So
Yeah.
I'd probably say Brainstorm have dropped off. They went from being an org that consistently placed, they consistently were good. I had respect for the org. I was excited for the org as well. The tweets they were putting up, they were doing announcements, they were doing giveaways and stuff, different kind of stuff. And now they've just, since those playoffs, they've kind of just gone. I don't want to say the playoffs were the reason for that, because there probably is. I don't want to go and ask Brody, I'm not going to, but I'm sure there was reasons behind the scenes that the org is now gone. But I think that COD was a big thing that kind of ended that org, and probably that's why they've dropped off so much. For being up there to top 6 at Season 1 to then be gone by the end of Season 1, it's a huge loss.
So, anyone else open for discussion?
Not my place to say. Just that.
I'm going to get so much hate for that, but I don't
mean-
care. I'm going to get so much hate. Well, maybe.
Nah, I don't
Maybe.
think-
Maybe not. Just from what I can see. Just from what I can see.
Yeah.
I don't see a problem.
Yeah,
Uh,
the
can't deal
CD
with that.
thing, obviously, but that was a long time going, wasn't it? In all honesty,
hmm
I'll probably get subtweeted about this.
I know what you're going to say.
But I do.
I know what you're gonna say.
I think Bulldog.
Yeah, I knew you were gonna say that. I knew you were gonna say that.
And the thing is, right, it's hard because other owners and other people will either disagree with what I'm saying just because they like the owners. That tends to what happens. But me and Tony have never really had an issue. I mean, we had that rivalry the same as me and Nath had. I think when they stopped with the online stuff, before the online stuff, there wasn't really anything going on. Like Nath said, the marketing, they weren't doing anything special. A lot of teams started to creep up because, you know, I won't take it away from them. Like 2 years to last year, Bulldog were very, very, you know, well established. They done really good stuff.
Yeah.
I just find this year they've just dropped off. They, you know, they go to some of the events now the same as all of us. We can only go to what we can go to, and I think all of us realise that America is not really beneficial for any of us to attend.
I think out of
unless you're picking up protein.
the Birmingham placement, I think was what,
But
top 40
As an
something.
He plays the same
think.
as Reddit.
yeah. But as like I said, the land placements isn't what makes up an organisation. It's a lot of things that make up an organisation. You know, with the content, the content, etc. And you know, I don't feel like Bulldog has been the same they were last year. And it's not a rival thing. A lot of people said, like, they started to come up with this thing like Aerox and Bulldog had this rivalry thing, and I think it's because every event we went to pretty much placed in the same, the top 21 region, blah blah blah. We had the same amount of social media following, blah blah blah, and everyone thought there was a rivalry thing. There wasn't really a rivalry thing. We all have like competition between each other, etc. But yeah, I just feel like they've dropped off a little bit, unfortunately. And
It's understandable.
They might do something well again, but
It's understandable. You just saw the same thing as me, Nathan, didn't you? Oh, that was a funny one.
Is anything you want to say, Hayden, about any organisations you think dropped off?
No, I'm a nice person.
Ah.
Okay.
It's just not our like
yeah, but and
position to
that's-
say.
Yeah.
Like-
I'll take the easy route. TD.
Yeah.
I mean, fair enough. I
yeah,
mean,
and that's the thing, you know.
Yeah.
A lot of people would rather not say because you
Yeah.
don't want to upset people.
I just
blah,
went for the
blah.
easy one.
But being realistic, just being realistic enough, yeah,
Yeah.
and to be straight up, this is not like bashing organisations.
No,
at
no,
all.
no.
This is
Just what
not
we can
like,
see.
You know, we don't like each other, blah blah. It's just honestly from every day what people post out.
Yeah.
Like, even new organisations are doing more than some people that have been around a long time. It's just
That's it.
what people see, and it's what I see. And I'm not going to bullshit people, and I'm not going to like not say it just because it's going to upset someone. I'm going to get a sub to it for the next 10 years. You know, I don't care. It's just I see every day from what other organisations are doing, and they're not doing enough, in my opinion. I mean, like I said, I'm not going to take it away. Last year,
Yeah.
they done really well. I'm not going to take that away. But this year, you know, I don't see it. They still go to events with the same two people, blah blah blah. Their content team, I think I see rarely people retweeting the Bulldog
email?
member, etc. So I don't. That's what I'm saying, right? I don't see anything. I know they lost some of their teams, or they released. I don't know if it was a CS:GO team a few weeks ago, or whatever it was.
Might have been.
They always have roster problems. Same with us, you know. But yeah, content stuff. I don't see anything. I mean, the only thing I do like is watching Newts go on his YouTube videos. I do enjoy watching his because he's a knowledgeable bloke. You know, he knows what he's talking about. I'm not saying he doesn't know what he's talking. He knows what he's talking about. He's got an experience, but as an org in general, I just don't see how it was to how it is now. You know, it's not me bashing an organisation. It's just like positive criticism. Well, it's not even that really. It's my opinion that that's an organisation I feel has dropped from the top to sort of below new organisations that are coming through. You know, some new organisations like Animosity and you know Legion, they're doing more things than you know some of the organisations that have been here a long time. And it is a shame to see because it's always been, you know, Bulldog for the last year or two. It's always been the Bulldog, Radiant, well, Cryptic as such for the last 6 months maybe. OBN was about for a little while. And now, you know, people are dropping off the pedestal, and they need to bring it back.
I've got that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I used to play for OBN, didn't
Oh fucking hell.
And also like Barrage, Barrage doing their things in like Hearthstone. I don't know about their Call of Duty. I'm not too sure about that. I didn't see them at the COD event. Like, they got the content stuff going on. They're just ticking by as well. They're a good organisation. They've been around a long time. Obviously, my friend owned it before Jeff. But that's another organisation that were really up there with the top, and now they're sort of mediocre, just passing through, casually, just doing little bits. And I think it's the same with everyone. We're all trying to do what we can to stay either like relevant as such, and this is why we're all trying to think of new ideas, and try and keep on top of each other. And that goes back to like the rivalry between me and Nath, always like wondering, okay, what's he doing? What am I doing? Okay, what can I do better than him? And it is just trying to climb. But some of these guys who have been at the top, they get too complacent, and you've got these new organisations coming up, and then before you realise that, oh shit, these guys are doing much things better than us. We need to step up. You either step up or you get left behind. And some of the guys that have been up the top are getting left behind, because you've got some really good organisations coming through the ranks. But yeah, I'm not bashing Bulldog. Me and Tony have had a few things, I suppose, in the past, bit of subtweeting going on from more his end. But when I met him at LAN events, he's actually a right guy. We can have a proper civil conversation. He fucking knows what he's talking about. You know what I mean? He does know what he's talking about. But just my opinion, and it's not just an Aerox Bulldog thing. This is just another owner talking about another organisation. It's dropped off, and I hope it does come back up. It's more rivalry for me and Nathan at the end of the day. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, that's what it
Motivation
is.
as well.
I know what you mean.
Yeah, and
Cool.
one more thing before we go on to the questions that you guys, of course, sent in is one thing. It's one way they wanted to address that just happened recently. I know, David, before the stream started, when we were waiting, we just discussed this for a bit. The situation recently with Second Wave. Now, I read the couple tweets on it. Not enough to know fully what happened, but Quinn, did you read much about it? The whole situation, because it was a bit sketchy the way I read it, because it looked a bit. It was a bit complicated the way, because it's only Second Wave. I think it was you mentioned earlier, Davey, that Second Wave are not gone. So, who's best in position to describe what happened?
Well, yeah,
Quinn?
I mean, I don't. They've not like officially said they're
Yeah,
closing down, etc.
but
they're,
the ownership, half of it's gone.
And it just goes to show that if you do pick up the wrong person, it can affect your organisation hard. And we learnt that. I mean, we all know we had someone in our organisation, like lovely bloke to talk to, sweet bloke, but joke of a community. Like everyone took the piss out of him, blah blah blah. But unfortunately, Second Wave got themselves into a situation.
It was involving Roy, wasn't
Big
it?
Roy,
Yeah,
Big
Roy. Yeah, love the guy.
Big Roy, yeah.
Love him.
But they didn't obviously deal with the situation.
Yeah.
The situation wasn't dealt with properly. I think that's what was the problem. And then obviously Big Roy doing what Big Roy does, blasting them out, is what it is. But Second Wave as an organisation, like, in all honesty, Shep's a good guy. He come and helped us for a little while, cool guy. But that was just another organisation I just don't see getting nowhere. And in 6 months' time, I can put my ownership on the line. They won't get nowhere. They won't get to the top amateur scene at all. I think I heard one of the owners saying that having 300 followers in 6 months is fantastic. Like, they've got no marketing ethic. They don't know what they're doing, and that's the problem. You got 4 owners as well. 4 owners running an organisation. Unless it's a financial thing, like it's silly, really. Like Nathan said, you're best off having like a 1 or 2 man army, and sort it out yourselves. Second Wave's just another organisation that. I know it's coming across like shitty, do you know what I mean? But it's just one of them. I feel like just won't get nowhere.
That's understandable.
I just don't think it's going to get nowhere. 2 of the owners have left. That's not a good sign straight off the bat when there's a situation. Owners just don't leave.
No.
Oh fuck this, I'm out of here. Like if you believe in the brand, you stay and you sort the shit out. You're making a public apology like they've done or whatever they've done, and you get it all sorted and you go again. But it just proves to people who say like Second Wave they won't get nowhere when you've got owners leaving because of a silly situation. It is what it is, and it's just another organisation that thought they can make it by spending 100 quid here and there, and turns out it didn't work out. There's nothing wrong with it. Everyone's got a trial and error. Everyone's got to try. you know, and you can't fault someone. You can't fault someone for trying. You know?
Yeah.
But it is what it is.
I know what you mean.
Yeah, and it was like they were they were making their way up, the youths, and like you said, you don't see them being top of the amateur scene. They were making their way up. They had some good, solid teams going. They were making their way up. Like they came into this year, I was like, oh, second wave, okay. Voltic was involved in there. I was like, I'm committed to Voltic. Hope second wave do well. And then this is kind of just, it's kind of, I don't want to say it's the biggest bad publicity thing that's recently happened in the youth scene, but it probably is in terms of the scale of it. Because obviously I don't know all the details, and I don't really want to know all the details personally, but I know it involved Roy. I know it had something to do with him, and it's something to do with his stream, things he was saying. But it's like you said, Davey, a good
He got
person.
dropped, didn't he?
I think
From the team.
there was something about it, because I know he was.
But
I think he was a streamer for second wave.
I saw some tweet. I don't know. I saw some tweet about his COD team saying like this team's gonna last.
Oh yeah, that one, yeah.
Someone posted a picture an hour later saying he'd been dropped.
And then they teamed again the next day. I think. I think they picked up Roy again, Leon, Voyage, and the last
The
person I
only
can't
thing know
remember.
about him is just, I've seen pictures of some geezer with his top off, which is that's about it.
But yeah, like we say, sad times for second wave. Who knows? They could, like you said, only 2 of the owners left, so there still is a potential for them to come back, but it's looking dim for the moment. It's a sad time for them right now. But like we said, stream, you guys did send in your questions. You sent them in to me, myself. You sent them in to Nathan and Davey as well. Hashtag Let's Talk. You guys sent quite a few actually. And this first one comes Reaper Steve 1. And this is something that maybe it's a little bit different. We said we were going to focus on COD today. We haven't. No, this is something a lot different. Fortnite esports, he says. Is it ready or nah? His words. As a person that doesn't, people will probably hate on this. I uninstalled Fortnite because I did not play it. I liked it. I just didn't play it as much.
I think Fortnite's more of a fun game to play than a
Yeah,
fun, serious competitive game because it's too unpredictable.
it is.
You
Very
can't-
unpredictable.
You can be the best pro in the world and you can get shot in the back. It's over.
Yeah.
It's not competitive at all. It's fun and it's competitive to a certain extent, but I don't think it could get to the point where you can put hundreds of thousands of pounds on the line.
A
for it.
line, yeah.
Yeah.
I
If
see.
you
I,
were-
no, go on, go on.
I just feel like if you were to do that,
Uh-huh.
then you couldn't base it off like one game. Like all the money on one game, it would have to be
Yeah.
multiple games. So like, say if you have like 25 people in a game,
Yep.
based on like you do like a top 10 placing or whatever, you get like points from like first to 10th. And you do it over like a span of like 5
You
or
do
10
like a
games.
Premier League table.
Yeah, sort
If
of
we
like
play
that.
it
Yeah.
yeah.
I think
So
the
it's
first
like-
thing to mention is it's a battle royale game. You know what I mean? When we've seen
Yeah.
H1Z on PUBG, that's what you have to take into
Yeah.
consideration. Luck is a factor.
It's not an FPS
Um,
battle royale.
Yeah, I think at this stage, no, it's not ready for.
No, I don't think it is
competitive,
either.
Just because there's a lot of different things, and without talking about Fortnite just like that, I think Tilted Towers is the biggest issue, just because that's
Yeah,
like the
exactly.
thing to go at the moment. It needs a bit more spread out evenly, so everyone's kind of spread out a bit more, and then that opens up the competition. But at this stage, viewership is phenomenal. It's the biggest thing we've seen ever, like in gaming related, when it comes to a video game. And if that correlates to
'Cause it's
esports,
free.
yeah, exactly. I think there's so many advantages to Epic Games though. They've been so clever about it. They've probably made much more money off
Exactly.
cosmetics than they would if they sold the game at £20 a piece.
Exactly.
The genius move. And I think how much they update the game, I don't know how
Yeah.
much they can still update it. But I think the next big stage would be like a new map, which I think's been hinted at. And then competitive. I think we saw it briefly when Ninja did that tournament.
Yeah, last weekend,
averaged
yeah.
600,000 viewers.
Something like that. Yeah, it was mad.
Yeah,
That is-
nearly 700,000.
Yeah, it was madness.
Fortnite's not even about for like a full year. Yeah, I think there's too much that you can't really deny that it's going to be a good esport. I think it will be. I just think we need to sort out
Yeah.
how it's going to be, because I think unpopular opinion, but I don't think 4v4 may be the way to go. I think maybe duos or solos might be a clever.
I think
You can't win. You can't win a 1v4. You can win a 1v2.
Yeah, it's one of them.
it's like
Then again,
I
PUBG
feel-
H1 did it. So.
I mean,
Yeah.
they're very good with the community though. They listen to the community a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the best thing about them.
Yeah.
Their devs are better than any single dev on this universe at the moment. 100%. Like
Yeah.
they literally respond to every Reddit post. I think I did a Reddit post that's like a joke, and I got a
He still
response from someone-
responded.
I got a response from someone from Epic Games saying, "Hi, we're looking into this. Thanks for your problems, stuff like that." And
It's like I wasn't being
wow.
serious, but thanks.
They've got people dedicated to speak to their audience, and that's the best thing. Like if you compare it to Activision, who's got
Oh,
10 times more manpower,
Jesus.
10 times more revenue. What are they doing? Like it looks embarrassing compared to Epic Games, which is a
Yeah.
much smaller company. They're doing phenomenal, and they deserve every single bit they get. But yeah, I think it
Yeah.
will be a good esport.
So
it's just a
overall-
matter of time. What?
Overall, at the moment, ready or not? I'm saying no.
No.
No?
No, not this.
At the moment, no.
No? Davey? Any input?
No.
With, of course, Aerox having the most kills from a player on the planet?
Top UK.
Or, sorry, not planet, sorry, UK. What am I thinking?
Yeah.
Jesus, what am I thinking?
He's like 25,000 kills.
Yeah, like 4,000
Sweaty.
games, something like that.
Sweaty, mate.
Madness. So, do you think it's
Um,
ready?
Well, for him, yeah, he's ready to go, mate. But yeah, it's all about how they concept it, isn't
Yeah.
it? How they work it out with
Yeah.
the map size and how many players, and if it's going to be literally everyone jumps out and free for all, mate. That's it.
Yeah.
Last man standing, no matter if you're camping the bush all game or what. Depends how they figure it out, but I hope they do because I think it'll be superb. I'd love to go to a LAN event, Fortnite LAN event. How sick would it be? Like you got
Crazy,
that
yeah.
massive round table, you know, that it done. I can't remember what that tournament's called. A massive where Dr. Disrespect goes, massive round table and all playing and shit. It'd be sick. I love
Would be.
watching that main stage. Do you know what I mean? It'd be so
Yeah.
it'd be so good. So hopefully they figure out before. I mean, the only problem they're gonna have is like the new COD coming out. You know,
Yeah.
they should have done all this. I mean, they obviously didn't expect COD to come out a little bit earlier, but they should have maybe done the whole competitive thing by now. They should have figured it out and actually got the ball rolling because when the COD comes out, the COD community is going to go back to being on COD again. You know, sweating the game out. And if the game's crap, then they'll go back onto Fortnite. It'll be like a backup thing.
Yeah.
So I just hope they do.
It'll be a
something
rough
with
few
it.
months. So you got
Yeah.
FIFA in September, and
Yeah.
that'll be the grind. It's just.
It's like
then
last
Patreon's
year.
come-
Last year, everyone
Right,
went back to Ghosts,
Yeah, I know.
but now instead
Yeah.
everyone's gone to Fortnite.
I didn't enjoy that. I was absolutely dog shit at that game.
Oh, I loved it.
I
Oh,
was
look
dog.
at
I
that.
was. I loved it, but I was dog shit. I couldn't shoot shit for my life.
So fun.
Having never played Comp Ghost, I was lost. I was like a kid in a field. I was lost.
Sniping on that game, so
That was good.
Oh.
Yeah, to be fair.
Yeah.
I
Do
think.
a podcast on Ghosts. Beautiful game.
And I think another question we got. Nova, I'm not going to ask you this, probably because we've already asked you before. It was Mercy that sent in. Why did you start raiding? What was the reason and outcome you wanted? I think we touched on what we asked you.
Oh,
What?
covered
Why
it,
did you start it? What was the reason? Back then, what was the outcome you wanted from raiding? Guess we can just extract that. Maybe just what did you expect back then?
Looking back on it, to be honest, it was kind of to prove people wrong. Because at that stage, I was removed from an organisation, and Boffers here, we used to own Void together, so it kind of there's a bit of beef there. I kind of wanted to beat that brand, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But looking at it now, I think the main aim is taking it to a career-wise. And I think at this stage, I think all of us can agree we've never been so close. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's that stage now, taking it to a career and then moving on from there, because I think that's the most
Yeah.
exciting thing.
This is another one from Animosity Enigma. The owner of Animosity says, "Do you feel the amateur scene needs a dramatic shake-up from the leagues?" Huh.
You are.
I think
He
this is sort
said.
of like
He said
what
that.
do you mean by that?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking there. I was like, do you feel like they needed a dramatic shit? I think does he mean structure? I think he means structure.
does he
sort of like
Does it mean
how
more?
That's a tough one. It's not even the fact it's tough on the answer. It's tough when we don't really know what he means. Do you feel the amateur scene needs a dramatic shake-up from the leagues? I don't know what he
so, like,
means.
structurally.
I think so. It's structurally. I think it's formatting. Okay, formatting and structure. Yeah, okay. I thought that.
I mean, as in,
Yeah, structure.
when he means amateurs, he means 18 plus, doesn't he? Not youth.
Uh,
So he's on about
no.
different from like the UK. Oh, he's on about youth.
Yeah, because he said from the leagues. Amateur.
Well,
Just,
he's-
just.
we've
Do
got
you think the amateur
national
scene
leagues,
needs a
haven't we?
shake-up from the leagues? I think he. I don't know if he means. I think he just means like Val EG and stuff. I think. It's kind of like I think it's open for interpretation, that one.
Like something I think is like it's good having like different leagues and everything, but just having one very well structured.
Oh, this is
league.
this has been brought up a few times.
Yeah, like one very well structured league.
Or all of them
Just
put the
like-
money into.
Kind of like the CWL.
Yeah, Yeah.
Mhm.
Even saying that CWL is questionable at times.
Their timing is absolutely shit.
But then, like, if we have a very well structured league and just like having
Yeah.
like just like you know what I'm saying, just very
Yeah,
well
yeah, I know what
structured,
you mean.
just having a lot of like time into it, a lot of effort put into it, it will definitely help it rather than having like 3, 4, maybe 5
Yeah.
different leagues set up.
It's not like leagues haven't tried. I mean, Valve have stuck with the same system for quite a while. Esports Hub, I believe, are still sticking with their system of 4 teams of 4 in a pool, which I think they're sticking with that. And I think one league has actually tried it is EEG. And
Yeah.
Nova, you're aware of this, the fact that they've gone for next season with
Oh, the
a
like,
big
confusing.
change in terms of separating it into region, which I was informed of before that, of course. But I mean, what do I think? I mean, I think it's a good idea.
I mean,
In
and how
terms
many
of
teams in
that,
each region you
exactly,
get?
that's what I'm saying. Because it was something I was reading the
You know, like,
replies.
eight-
Yeah,
18 English teams and 2 Spanish teams.
yeah, I was reading the
Yeah,
replies, and
And
someone was
France
like,
team and-
"We're the only team in the Portuguese league. That'll be an easy playoffs." And I was thinking, that's what you're gonna get, because you've got the Portuguese scene. I don't know. I can name maybe 2 to 3 Portuguese orgs, if that. I mean, we just don't see many Portuguese orgs in the leagues. You're gonna get you could end up with the same playoffs essentially, a 32 team bracket, English, Spanish, and minority of other. It just
Then again, you say that. I guess EEG have got more of like an
You-
English
yeah.
and a Spanish audience too.
Yeah.
I guess, so
there's
that
a
kind
lot of
makes
Spanish
sense.
teams in EG, a lot.
Um, So it could work out, but
Yeah.
it's still going to be.
At least they've
UK national leagues.
At least they've
like,
tried.
The UK national league is
Yeah.
way more competitive than like the German one.
At least they've
Or
tried
the
to shake it
Spanish
up. I think
I
that
mean,
the reason.
even the German ones are 2 German, 2 English.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I think
Yeah.
all of it are. Same with Italian.
I think one of the big reasons EG did it though is because it's just general leagues. You hear people say, "Oh, we're playing against the Italians today or the Germans." It's a big complaint on host. There's a big complaint, and people think, "Oh, why can't we just have a division where you play against your own teams?" So it's got positives and negatives, right? You get I don't know how many teams we know minimal about it myself and Quinn so far because obviously season 2 hasn't even ended yet, so we know minimal about what it's going to look like. But I don't even know how many teams they're going to put in each division. Can they even fill a division? Like, what if they end up with like 4 teams? That's not going to balance out. They're going to have to send all in the playoffs. I mean, we'll have to wait and see. But at least they're trying. At least they're trying.
I
Yeah.
don't-
At least they're giving it a go. But
Just have
yeah, and I believe we got a quick long question here. I'm going to do logicals
just do-
first.
I think we should do 1 or 2 more.
Yeah, I'm going to do logicals, and I think we've already addressed a couple of them, so... Logicals is a long one, but I'm going to try and squeeze it down. He said that... What's everyone's opinions on the expectations of the COD scene, funding-wise? In brackets, he says, teams that have never played leagues expect funding, and people still seem to decide to fund them. Is this pushing everyone's expectations
I'm
up
just
and making making everything more expensive for orgs? I think...
I'm gonna start off real quick. Just get into something that I've seen, Dave. You tweet out your placings list and like what you tweet out. Just saying like teams who either don't get in like later rounds of like the open bracket and pool play, definitely funded. I think anything lower than that, I think like obviously not like travel costs and hotel and everything, that it just adds up, especially when there's literally only one UK event this year. Teams that are wanting to go to NA, it is a very big investment they have to make to go to like NA for a COD event.
It's
So
about 2.5
anything,
grand.
yeah, anything
Yeah, it's-
anything lower than I think like the later rounds of the open bracket, I don't really see much point in funding a team to an event, especially if it's an NA event.
Well,
Thing is, like, with funding, right? I think the American, if you want to go to an American event, the teams are going to have to pay up because there's not a caliber of team over here. Maybe 1 or 2 teams that could maybe compete against the open bracket in America. People don't realise that the open bracket
Nordic.
in America is a lot harder to our open bracket.
Yeah.
I was speaking to
Um,
Verdict about that.
Yeah.
And so, like I said, it's 2.5 grand, like minimum.
Minimum, yeah.
You're going to get no exposure over there, even if not in the UK. Teams forget that we're just paying for them to go on holiday, and do what they like to do. Because you come in like top 16 to top 18 placements, respectively, that's going to get you some publicity. Not that you're going to gain thousands of followers or loads of people are going to be talking about you. Nothing, unless you're in pool play on that main stage where you've got thousands of people on live stream watching you. It's nothing, So from the players' point of view, they don't care. I don't think they care about your brand, right? Put it out there. Teams don't care about organisations. Hence why they bounce back and forth between, and they play each other off. They play us off all the time. Oh well, Radiant fully funded us, so I expect this from you, as such. Or, they offered us half funding. Can you add an extra whatever? Like, we get this all the time, and people don't realise that we're spending all this money for nothing.
You're not going to get.
All we're going to do is just one day that we pick up a team, we send them, and they do well. That's all we're doing. Coming out of top 16 is nothing for an organisation. It does absolutely nothing unless you're doing like the video thing where you're getting content, etc., etc. But placement wise, no one cares. No one cares, mate.
Yeah.
And teams don't get it. They just think that and we get this all the time, like, oh, but we're representing your brand. Yeah, you are, but we're paying you to represent our brand. Like, we'll give you the jerseys, and then depending on how good your team is, we might be able to, give you the hotel for free. But just because you're repping our brand doesn't mean we have to pay for everything. You don't, repping up. I don't know. Example, like, if you're going to market someone, you don't expect to be. I'm trying to think of the right thing to say. Like, I don't know. Anyway, organisation, if they're saying like, yeah, you are promoting us, hence why we're giving you jerseys free. That's promotion. And if we want to give you some more money, we'll pay for a hotel. But to pay for 4 flights, Airbnb, costs for the weekend as well, it's just bloody ridiculous. And back in the day, in 4, 5, 6 years ago, well, about 6 years ago, everyone paid for themselves pretty much. Everyone had a point to prove. Do you know what I mean? It's quite rare that jerseys. You was lucky to get jerseys. Nowadays everyone just expects too much, and it annoys me. Every year, and one thing that pisses me off that you get an email or someone saying to you, oh, well, we placed this event, that, blah blah blah, and then you look into the roster and it's a bloody complete different roster. You might have one person who achieved top 16 at that whole new roster, but the other was either haven't been to LAN or they've got a top 32 placement. But as that person come top 16, they deserve all this funding. Like, it's ridiculous. People need to open their eyes, and to be honest, it's not even the players' fault. It's the organisations allowing it to happen. There's no governing body, so organisations have to follow a certain code of conduct or whatever. There's nothing there for esports at the moment, right? So if I say no to a team, and Nathan's got the funds,
someone's going to ask to say yes.
Or he's going to pick them up because he's got the money or whatever. But then that team's going to go back to another organisation after they've ditched him, because it's usually a one-time thing. After that, and they're going to be like, right, he's fully funded me, so this is what I expect. And it's a vicious circle. Once someone's fully funded, or they've got what they've wanted, they now expect that for the rest of their COD career. Even if they come in top 94 every event, they'll still say to you, well, you're going to fund us hotel. Like, really, mate? It's the community is such a crap state for this, and it winds me up. It is all Gona's fault, because no one like as such talks to each other and say, right, we should be offering a caliber of this sort of team, roughly about this sort of money, or blah blah blah. If I don't do it, someone else is going to do it, so I need to do it. If I want that team, I'm going to have to pay whatever it is to get that team. If not, another Orgona is going to say yes to it. So I either lose out on a team, or I have to pay the money. And unfortunately, you've got to pay the money. If not, someone else is going to pick that team up, and it could be a really good team. So we've had, just because you've got into National League and you didn't do considerably well, you go to your last event, you didn't do considerably well. You didn't come like top 21 or anything like that, and you're still asking for thousands of pounds. It's bloody ridiculous. I've never known nothing like it. Well, I have, because it happens every bloody day. But 6 years ago, you wouldn't get this, and it's just, unfortunately, it's just turned to a shithole. This it needs to figure it out. And everyone's crying why the COD community is dying, and this is the reason. This is, everyone's attitude, it stinks. And this leads me on to the youth thing. Where everyone says, I don't like the youth tournaments. It's not the tournaments, it's most of the community. And they're our next generation of of COD players coming through the doors, right? So it's good to see who comes through talent-wise, but most of them, their attitude stinks. And all they're going to do now is follow the over 18s, and they're going to be like, oh, he got fully funded. So when I turn 18, this is what I expect. And it's going to go on and on and on. And this is why it's going to crumble eventually. The community's going downhill.
Understandable. I mean, I'm glad you cleared that up, because remember when you were back a couple of whiles ago, just separate from what you said, you cleared it up that it's not the tournaments that you had. I know you got a bit of flack for that, Dave, as well, didn't you?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, you got quite a bit of flack, and was it people just misinterpreting what you said? Because you don't. It's not the tournament you got anything against. It's the people.
No, not at all. Like I said, I've supported these online tournaments.
Yeah.
You know, when we were first in them, and also I think I said earlier with James, who owns Esports Universe, he was looking for casters. I tweeted out, and I'm pretty sure his Boffers and Brody got tagged in it, and that's how they got their caster rolling in that tournament page. So I'm willing to help these people out because, like I said, it is the future of COD. Like, this is where we scout our players. But unfortunately, you could be the best player in the world, but if you've got a shit attitude and you're posting racist stuff, like the amount of racist stuff I see, like I have to block people all the time, and it's always the youth community. And then what they'll do in a year's time when they turn 18, who do you think they're going to be running to? Radiant, Cryptic, Aerox. They're going to be DMing us when, oh, I'm 18 now. Can we join your fleet? No, mate, because last year you were saying the N-word every day. It's like they don't think about what they're doing, and it's not everyone. Like, I'm not putting everyone in the same category. It's just certain people, like P10 gang, them idiots, right? They're the biggest muppets. You blacklist them, yeah, the community will be better. It's certain people that make the community toxic, right? And the Val League and the EG, blah blah blah, they're doing everything right. I mean, the system is a bit dodgy sometimes, but we do need these tournaments. 100%, we need them, right, to scout people. But I've got no issue with the tournaments at all. It's just the community is dreadful, but it's not everyone. You know, some people have come through and they've done extremely well. But if you find the people that do well have the right attitude.
Yeah.
It's the guys that have a poor attitude and they think they're all Billy Big Bollocks, keyboard warriors. You wait till they turn 18 and they go to a LAN event, mate. They won't say nothing to you, you know, and that's what makes me laugh the most. And then when they do turn 18, they'll be begging to join your organisation. They need to think long term, not just acting like a hero online. They need to, like I said, if that was sorted, the community would be great, and then we could actually have a mature audience coming through, not these muppets.
I know what you mean.
That think they're all.
I understand. I get what you mean.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I get what you mean, and just before we end,
you know. Yeah, I was going to say, like, you know, people in the youth, like, I won't name names, but I'm sure you can see chat. This idiot's coming through, you know, from being an idiot in the youth scene, coming into the 18, and no one wants to team with them. You know, hence why they get top 96 placements, because they can't find a decent team, because the over 18s that are already established, they don't want these players. Because an organisation, these guys could probably agree with me, well, if they should agree with me, like, you can't take the risk with having a youth team, because only certain youth teams, shall I say, or shall I say players, because some of these players, all they've got to do is post the wrong thing online, which they always do. Most of the youth community post some stupid shit, and all it takes is someone to screenshot it, send it to your sponsors, you've lost your sponsorship. You know, I can't remember what team it was, where one of the players threatened to stab someone at I-62. Who was that again? I can't. Second wave, second wave, wasn't it? Yeah,
I know
second
it
wave
is as
roster.
well.
Yeah, someone, you know, threatened to stab someone, right? And they got banned from the event straight off the bat. Like,
didn't even know
I
that.
can't take the risk.
Yeah, Kurt said it was second
When you've
wave,
got
yeah.
a well-established,
He confirmed it.
you know, when you've got a well-established organisation, you cannot take the risk of picking up people who can jeopardise your brand. And unfortunately, most of the youth community will jeopardise your brand. Hence why most people don't dabble in the youth community. I mean, we'll put an 18+ team into the leagues. That's what we're doing, you know, because we want to progress the leagues. So we're willing to put in these 18+ teams. I mean, you do find youth teams that are credible, you know, mature people, but it's just bloody rare. And you'll find when they turn 18, they're going to have a hard time progressing in their COD career because of what they've done, because they think they're all smart and clever.
Yeah, I think
know,
that's
it's like
what I find
babies.
with my lads. There's nothing wrong with them. You know what I mean? I wouldn't have picked them up if I thought they would go even touch my branding in a bad way. But Sayan, chillest guy, no. Geordie, he's hilarious. Like
He's
he's,
hilarious.
he's not one of them that to start
No.
yapping on Twitter.
The Welsh stallion.
No. Does anyone have a problem with Geordie? Like,
No.
he's the nicest guy ever.
Just a
He's
funny
not been a
guy.
dickhead to anyone.
Oh,
Sayan
Walls
is-
is in the chat now. Oh no, you pissed off B10.
Oh, dear.
Oh no, that's about to kick off.
Well, Sayan
Fucking
is like
nonsense.
Sayan is the chillest guy ever. He's far too laid back. He hardly tweets, to be fair.
Yeah, it's
Hectic. I'm glad I've actually got the chance
he's a
to
son.
work with
Aaron's.
Hectic.
I love Aaron. He's a
Really
sick guy.
nice guy.
And Reese.
you know,
There again. Oh no. B10's a bit in the chat.
but yeah, they're all sound. Well, Billy too. Billy, like I saw Billy on Twitter, but I've never actually properly worked with him. But he's a good
That
lad.
was like 10
I've
minutes
got
from me. He's the soundest guy ever. You got like
yeah, I've
one
got
of the
I've got
soundest
nothing
squads
wrong
ever.
with- Yeah, no, they're really nice. That's why I kind of went with
Yeah.
them. Obviously, I think if I can't really name them, there is a couple rosters, but they're not on that level of them. You know what I mean? Not to put them down or anything, but I think it's a high standard roster. They're all mature. I've got no issues with them.
Yeah.
They're probably the best pick for me.
And just whilst we get in, probably just get a yes or no question from this because obviously this is maybe something that's a bit controversial. But we'll just get maybe a quick yes or no from these. Aaron sent in one final question. It was PGO involving that situation. What's your opinion on PGO, and do you think the potential to succeed? And we'll keep it short because obviously we don't know what PGO's situation is right now. But we discussed it beforehand, Davey. This doesn't look like it's going to go ahead, does it? So much potential.
But it's like, sorry, I know you
No,
own
it's
that,
fine.
David,
Go
sorry to
ahead.
cut off.
No, it's open to the
I know-
floor. Go ahead.
I know this kind
No,
of
you're
relates to you,
right,
Davey, but it
Um,
kind of pissed me off when I saw everyone hopping on the bandwagon and hating on them straight away. From my perspective, they are not going to make a single penny from it. If anything, they're going to make a huge loss. So why are you attacking them? Why are you slandering them? Because they're trying to help at the end of the
trying to
day.
help you.
They're trying to help people, regardless if they may not be at the right stage now. They may not have thought of everything. Drop them a DM, help them. Stuff like that. I think, yeah, they've cancelled now, but I think that clashes exactly with Insomnia.
It does,
You cannot
yeah. First to
compete
the
with an
third.
Insomnia event. I'm afraid you can't compete with
No.
that level because they already have the backing, they already have the equipment. You know what I mean? They don't have to like rent it. They've got the venue already. Don't need to worry about stuff like that. So I think everyone was very quick to say, this is a scam, that's a scam. But just sit back, let it do its own thing, see what evolves out of it. If it does collapse like it did, look why it did, because it was competing with I-63, and then go from there. Make your assumption there. But I think there's a lot of people were very quick to they're not doing this right. It's just I don't get why. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It takes 5 seconds to drop them a message
Yeah.
and kind of explain why. But I think they did need that kind of guidance. I love Coleman. I don't know the other guy, but I think they had the right intentions. They just needed to apply it more. In the head, I'm sure it was perfect, but I think from my perspective, you need to portray it right to the audience, because if that's not spot on, then it doesn't matter
Yeah.
what's in your head,
Yeah.
because that's not what they're seeing. You know what I mean? It's one of them things.
Yeah, they're making a huge loss, is what he says.
Yeah, like having the
I think
having ticket sales on, like, or having like saying, "Oh, tickets will be
Yeah.
this much" and all of that, like before you've even really got a venue sorted.
Yeah.
That's the first thing you've got to have sorted. The
It's
venue, and
difficult.
like what they did, one of the first things they did, which I totally agree with, what you should do first, obviously contact Activision and get permission to actually host an event that isn't like associated with them. They did that, good on them. But then having like saying the tickets will be this much without having a venue sorted, that's where they messed up.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Of course they messed up, but it was like, what was everyone
Yeah.
attacking them for? Just
I
drop a
don't-
message, just
I
tell them how to
know.
improve.
Yeah, they just
Oh.
said that they were on. Tickets weren't going on sale until they announced the venue. It's. We've seen it done. It's the second time we've seen it tried in the past months. It's a tough thing to get an event for 16 plus in the modern age of competitive Call of Duty. In the past, it was 16 plus. Now it's strictly 18 plus. I mean, you can still get in the event at age 17, but you're taking a risk as well of not being allowed entry. And it's such. I haven't tried it, but I've been in close contact with the guys that have tried it. Vision as well. It's a lot of red tape to get through just to get it allowed to happen.
Yeah.
It's a lot of
course
red
it is.
tape. I mean, it's a
Reason why a
17
lot of
plus
people
event.
don't do it.
Yeah, it's a 17 plus event for a game that is literally it's an 18 game. So it's a lot of red tape. And to be fair,
Now they've actually said that they've had emails and that, and I've talked with the owners of it, and they said that they had an email saying that it has to be 18 plus.
Yeah, and we were contacted.
And they said they were trying to get it 16 plus, like
Yeah.
16 plus, but it is confirmed that if they do host it, it's going to be 18 plus.
Yeah, and they contacted, I think, me.
But yeah, that would have been big for them if that could have been 16 plus.
It
Yeah.
would have been big, yeah.
To how the LAN events used to be, when it was 16 plus, you had double like the figures, double the
Yeah.
teams attending, massive events. I mean, with this PGO thing, it's anything like that is going to beneficial the community. But like Nathan said, as long as it's done right, and it seemed, like I said, in their head they probably had it all mapped out, they had it all planned, but it didn't come across like that. It
Yeah.
come across like the first thing everyone saw that when they went on the website was tickets. That's pretty much what it was. Everyone was like, and then I think they tweeted like purchase tickets, blah blah blah, and then I think one of the owners tweeted out about deleting all the tweets because I don't know what the reason was behind it, but it's not coming across like an EGL would post about things.
Professional.
And it's not. There's no and substance. But if it works, I'll send a team there, no problem. But to talk about tickets and pricing before a venue's even booked up,
Yeah.
and they said like they had months to plan this, but if you had months to plan it, you would be booking venues, you would be getting production teams. Like no one knows who's doing production. I mean, I remember one of the first EGL events, and that was like a pantomime stage. It was pathetic. Dark room, there was like 5 foot ceiling, was like 5 foot smack everywhere. It was absolutely terrible.
Yeah.
But you got to start somewhere, and that's where you got to respect them for trying to do something and help the community out, which is is a good thing, but just maybe should have come maybe a different direction. Maybe not even mention tickets, maybe mentioning like graphics, like we've booked, I don't know, thingy venue, on the and maybe not try and book it near the date of an
Yeah.
Insomnia event. That's a big no, because obviously we all know that's not going to happen. They should have booked it a few months before, a month and a half before at least, so people can get the money to go to another event. But if they do it properly, like I said, I'm happy. I'll definitely
Yeah.
to send a team, and I'm sure Nathan will probably send a team, and Crypto will send a team. Hopefully they don't put it near the date of Insomnia events, because everyone will be going to that event.
Yeah, and
I think we need more security. We need more security, like pictures, like of I don't know, of confirmations and stuff, just to get the community on side. And once the community's on side, you'll get the support of the community, because everyone wants it. Everyone wants another LAN event, but you need to get the community on side. Like no org owner is going to spend 160 quid before even having a venue booked. It's a big no-no. No one's going to do that. So if they rectify everything and announce a venue in like 2 weeks' time, saying okay, we've got this Fit Royal place booked for the 23rd of July, blah blah blah, and the venue's confirmed it on their Twitter account and stuff like that, then the community is going to start swaying and be like, okay, cool, these guys are not messing around. They obviously got proof of what's going on. Let's send in a team, and I'm willing to spend 160 quid, whatever the team ticket was, and let's go and have a good time. I hope they do well. It's another LAN event, but it can't be easy, because we'd
No.
have more than one event. AM Pro tried doing it a few times, didn't really work. The Vision thing, whatever happened there, it makes you wonder. People don't do it. There's obviously a reason why people don't do it, because there's either too much hassle or too much money. So people are going to be skeptical, because how are these two? I think they're like 18 or 19 years old. Like, how are these guys doing it when fully operational businesses can't do it, or EGL do not want to carry it on because it's either too expensive or not worth their while? And the community are picking up on that. So they need to reassure us and stuff.
yeah, and it was a good idea on paper. I mean, I was contacted. Were you contacted, Quinn?
Yeah.
Yeah, we were both contacted to appear as a duo, of course, and I couldn't say yes back then for one reason, and it's because I, of course, didn't know when I was registering for year 14. I was assuming it was the event was the last week of August, and I'm pretty sure I registered for the second year of sixth form on that Monday, so it was tight for me potentially, and the fact that it's 18 plus now essentially rules me out completely, because I am the only caster that's not 18, so I'm essentially, I can't go anyway. So it literally has no impact on me whatsoever. But it was a good. I mean, I like what they try to do themselves in Vision. I mean, they kind of just came out of the blue. Everyone was like, all right, we can get a 16 plus line going. It got everyone excited, but it was a letdown in the end. It was a letdown for people to think, oh, sad. But it looks like from what we're seeing, they did have more planned than Vision did. Vision was kind of it looked organized, but PGO just looked more organized. They had a venue that they're telling me now. The only problem was the date. That was the only issue, and the fact that someone told them 18, someone told them 16. So it looked like they were essentially, if they had got the right permissions, they were good to go. It's just obviously if you're not going to beat an Insomnia, like you said, Nathan, you're not really going to compete with attendance for I-63,
Yeah.
are you? Like you said, the backing, the money, they've got
They
the setups
should have.
provided.
What they should have done, they should have kept in the dark until everything was finalised, and come like a big bang. Like, we are hosting this event at this venue on that date. Like, come and join in. Like, get the hype going. Maybe like get all the Twitter sorted and do what like Hound Esports are doing, where it's like all blacked out and then we're coming or something. PG
Yeah.
events, and build the hype and come with like substantial, like, this is going to happen. Like, we've got the back in, everything's going to happen. Not make an account, because what it seems like all it seems is coming across that they've just tweeted an idea. It's an idea. It's not actually an event yet. It's not actually finalised. It's just an idea, and people do not want to go with ideas. They want to go with things that are actually going to happen. So they should have just went dark. I know they're probably excited to get it out, like I would be as well.
Yeah.
But keep quiet about it. Get your venue done. Get this, get that, blah blah blah. Then come with a big bang. Get all your graphics. This is the venue, and everyone would have been hyped, and there'd be no skeptics because everything's there on paper. The venue. You ring up the venue, and the venue be like, yeah, we're hosting it. Cool. Then maybe they should have gone down that direction, but
Yeah.
it is what it is, and hopefully they bounce back.
Hopefully they bounce back indeed. And guys, with that will be it for us tonight. I hope you guys I think you guys did enjoy sort of the switch from maybe focusing. We had quite a few for the past 2 episodes. We've had pretty much COD based, even though we did have Newts on a few while ago. We did focus on COD, but tonight was a bit different. I enjoyed it. It was something different for us, Quinn, wasn't it? Just maybe focusing on organizations, having you guys, of course, here. It gives us maybe a break, because doing COD for 3 consistent weeks is a bit, you want to try something different. You want to get into the nitty gritty of behind the orgs. You want to get to know the people behind the orgs, because everyone just kind of thinks, oh, Radiant. They don't really maybe know Nova or David. They don't really know you, maybe Randall, as a person. So maybe just it's good maybe get to know that. Like, I don't know. It's good to
I'm
have a
just
bit of a break.
I'm just a massive knob. I feel bad for like youth teams though, because they're literally playing for second place because we're not going to lose.
We shall
But
find
it's
out
just-
tomorrow night
Oh,
when you
sad
guys get
times.
rounded.
Winners round 3.
No, you're getting
Yeah.
rounded.
Be there round
Okay,
it.
I'm
Be
You,
there
you
round
will be enjoying the losers bracket. Rob.
But if you find out the team that
What
Gizmo's
extreme
playing with
boys,
tomorrow,
they're,
let me know.
It doesn't matter who they're
On
playing with. They're
stream,
not gonna
boys.
lose.
I'd love to know though.
On stream,
Yeah.
if you boys are so confident, let's get a wager going.
Well, I get paid tomorrow, so I'm 100% down.
I don't get paid until the 1st, so and I'm on an apprenticeship wage, so probably not.
I'm on an apprenticeship.
Oh yeah.
Do you still wanna?
Yeah,
Do you still wanna? We can
Didn't
get
know.
a visual record of
Did you
this. Or you still wanna?
I'm an apprentice. I'm an apprentice for 1725 an hour.
Oh, I'm a fucking £3 an hour.
Who plays for Cryptic?
Christ.
Yeah, that's what we're trying to. Because rumors I've been
Who?
hearing is that's
Who does play for Cryptic?
That's the-
Gizmo's in the chat. Gizmo.
yeah Gizmo's in the chat, but
Well,
I've hearing
it's-
is he's been looking for a
It's
few.
Holly Gizmo,
Yeah, Gizmo, Hallie, yeah.
Warrior
Yeah, that's-
Fusions,
yeah.
Oh yeah,
that's
Brad
what-
as well. Yeah, Brad, Gizmo.
and
Oh,
Disray.
No-
And I do believe,
Is it
even though
Disray?
Disray's turned 18,
Yeah,
he is still playing the leagues.
yeah, but he's on peak, is he not?
Yeah. But
You gonna get him back for a weekend?
He's gonna finish the leagues with us.
If he comes back, if that's the squad that plays, I
Yeah, there you
don't-
go.
How else who else
Gizmo-
takes first?
Gizmo, Brad, Alex, and Ewan.
Disarray.
And then
Valier,
after,
and yeah, Disarray.
after this event, well torn. Come on, Gizmo, fuck me.
I was thinking if you were because if you took Disarray back, and of course Brad, and then Alex.
It'll finish this weekend with us, and then after that, we'll just probably rob someone else from
If you
someone else's
don't,
team.
if you don't win, I don't. Who?
Oh
who
yeah,
el-
because Alex is turning 18 as well
who,
soon.
who else wins that?
Oh,
Who else wins playoffs? I don't. Radiant?
Rain and Cryptic.
Who else? Yeah, yeah, but.
Oh,
sh-
Dylan Cod, come play the youth leagues with me.
Ah, dude.
Oh my god. Yeah, I'm.
Easy, buddy.
If that,
Come
alright.
and join.
We found out the final squad.
Alright.
But yeah, it's you guys should win. If you don't, we're gonna have words. Because literally, you should win with the squad. Even without Dylan, you should win.
Oh, there you go. Read the chat. It's confirmed. Dylan Cod's joining Cryptic.
Oh,
we love
jeez.
it.
But anyway,
You
guys, like we
absolutely
said,
Game over.
It's been great to have you guys here tonight. Quinn, it's been great co-hosting as well.
Yeah.
Good to have you back this week after...
Yeah.
Guys, we'll just publicly address this.
Oh God, let's
'Cause I-
just...
no. I think we did in the tweets. I think we did in the tweets
God.
enough. But there was a bit
Yeah.
of controversy the other day. Just forget that. Forget that. It was a bit of a mix-up. It was... We'll just maybe
Yeah.
clear the air on what actually happened. Stubbs was meant to appear. He wasn't available. There was a bit. There was a big mix-up. Okay, there was just a big, there was a bit of confusion, I think, in around the whole situation. Like, I'm not even. Are we even sure what happened, Quinn? We're just trying to we're just trying to clear the air.
Stubbsy had
We
work.
were just saying, like, there's too many people for the podcast.
Yes, and there was
Six
something, and
people,
something
like,
happened.
6 people is just way
Yes,
too
and then
many.
something happened. That's all we'll say.
Yeah.
There was a bit. There was
Yeah.
6 people, and then something happened.
We're not
But
going to go into any
yes,
detail
we're just
because-
clarifying that something happened, just in case you guys wonder. But just forget that. Quinn is here, and it's been great having you back, of course, Quinn, for another episode. And of course, Davey, it's been great having you here as well, mate.
Cheers, boys. Appreciate it.
Reese, no
Yeah.
problem, mate. And Reese wasn't available, but Hayden, thanks for stepping in last minute, mate. It was a bit of a rush to get you on, but thanks for stepping in nonetheless, mate.
I was watching Take Me Out. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure having you on indeed, man. And Nathan, your second time on here, mate. You do not fail to impress.
Maybe.
No, no.
You don't
maybe
fail to
even
impress.
third time next
can,
week.
can you take your headset off and see that outside your ears?
Can you take that jersey off, man? Get them titties out.
Hey.
I mean, you
But
acted
yeah.
like I wouldn't.
But yeah, guys, thank you for tuning in. It's been another episode of Let's Talk. You guys sent in some great questions. We had some great topics and a great discussion with the guys. We'll be back, I believe, next week with the recap of the EEG playoffs. Who knows? We could be sitting here with one of these guys back if their team can win it. We'll be back with a winning. Well, you should. You should.
Let's clip
It's a
it.
shutdown!
It should be either you or Reese should be sitting here next week with us. Should.
Should.
If you ever win it, we'll have one of you guys back. But nonetheless, guys, like I said, that'll be it for us tonight. Have a great rest of your evening. Of course, enjoy the rest of your weekend, guys. We're back with next week with another episode of Let's Talk.